pack of boys. We swapped out Bourne for Rob this week.
Feeling better after my microchip dose finally let me relax a little bit. So
he got the vaccine.
His cell reception
a
is
little
still
down
good?
last week.
oh yes,
Cell reception
I
is
told the
better
boys
than
I'd update
ever.
them. Pfizer followed. 5G is excellent this week. Ever since
I've got full bars of 5G down here in the basement. I'm sitting right next to Rob, so that shit is working.
Radiation coming off him from here.
Alright, saying.
You are glowing.
I actually just watched, so I wanted to see Kong versus Godzilla versus Kong, right?
That shit was so good!
It was on HBO Max, so I was like, I'm about to watch it. I got 10-15 minutes
I put
in.
that shit on at 4:30 in the morning because my upstairs neighbor was making too much noise and I couldn't sleep. They woke me up, so I put that shit on, turned my soundbar all the way up with that bass.
Don't fucking wake me up at 4:30 in the morning, man.
But yo,
on my day off.
But yo, I got like 10-15 minutes into it, and then I started thinking about it. I'm like, are there any prequels to this kind of thing?
There are.
So I looked it up. No, so I looked it up, and I found out that the main two that you needed to see was Kong Skull Island.
Sam Jackson.
Yep. And what's her name?
Captain Marvel.
Who cares?
Brie Olsen.
Brie Larson.
Wait, Brie Larson, Tom Hiddleston,
Don't worry about
and
Brie
Sam
Olsen.
Jackson are all in that movie. So you had Loki, Captain Marvel, and Nick Fury, all trying to take down King Kong.
But so I was like, okay, and this was a couple days ago. So I was like, I'm gonna watch this one tonight. And then the next night I watched Godzilla, King of Monsters.
Yep.
And then last night was the first.
Is that the one with Mothra?
Is
Yes.
the one with Mothra?
When they fuck.
Ghidorah.
It's the one where like. The one with
The
like
three-headed monster.
with Monster Zero or whatnot, but it's been a block of ice and they unfreeze it, and then all of a sudden like, whoa, who thought that was gonna go badly? And the woman who looks like Patricia Arquette.
Yes. I haven't watched any of these movies.
Anyway, so I found out that there were two prequels, so I watched those before I then watched it. Good movie. I won't say that it's honestly it's one of those where I'm sure in theaters or in IMAX it would have been great.
Thanks, sir.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm good. You know me though, like I'm a bit of a. I don't watch a lot of movies, but
Solid.
I am, my man. I don't watch a lot of movies, and when I do, I'm overly critical on them. So it's one of those. It was entertaining, but I say it was a good movie. No, I'm sure it was a good experience in theaters, and it was entertaining.
Yeah,
but
it was
to be called a good movie in my books, you need more than just the things that get you, which are
So like
sound effects and explosions.
It met my expectations.
I
Yes.
expected a big monkey to fight a big lizard, the big lizard to have an unbeatable breath weapon, which,
Really?
spoiler alert, Kong has no comeback to Godzilla's breath weapon.
Yes, he does.
No, he doesn't. He runs away from it the whole time, and then when it hits him, he fucking dies.
No, he got the axe.
Yeah, you get the axe.
That's not an answer to the breath
And just so we're
weapon.
clear, that axe is a scale from Godzilla, right?
Yeah.
That's what it looks like.
Yeah.
It looks like
it's
it.
a back plate.
I have no idea what it actually means.
I
But the axe gave him a chance.
I mean,
no, absolutely.
I don't
but
speak
that's because he can use
hieroglyphics
tools. Monkeys can use tools. Dinosaurs can't.
Like
Dude, where's my car with the bendy straw?
Monkey.
Apes use crude tools.
To try to get the
wait though.
ants.
So King Kong has forethought, can actually make plans and use tools. Godzilla is just raw brute strength, and usually
And
that works.
radioactivity.
Okay,
The
so let's look
radioactivity
at this
is
one in the real world. Do you want to be the guy who thought, I'm gonna shit talk Aaron Donald to the point that it makes him want to punch me in my fucking face? Or do you just want to be Aaron Donald who was like, hey man, I just happen to be here. I don't know why this guy's fucking with me, but I don't like it.
Just so we're clear,
And, like-
Aaron Donald can take both Godzilla and King Kong.
I mean, he could probably take Kong.
Oh,
But
What's Aaron Donald gonna do against the breath weapon?
If he can
He's gonna run away.
If he can beat triple teams in the NFL, he can beat the radiation breath. There's no way Godzilla's breath is harder than beating 3 grown offensive linemen in the NFL.
Oh no, man. Able to,
That shit levels buildings.
Yeah.
Joey Bosa's
So do
not
3
ru-
grown
Joey
men.
Bosa's not running through buildings with his brother.
That's why I said Aaron Donald.
I figured 3 guys.
So what are we doing
Offensive
today,
line.
boys?
So,
Despite Kong vs. Godzilla being apparently the most polarizing thing we're going to talk about on this episode,
So far.
hopefully,
So far.
we're going to do a full 32 pick mock draft.
First round.
First round map.
first round only. We're
Oh.
using the draftnetwork.com. None of us have a premium membership, so unfortunately no trades are available.
So we're just going to run it through straight as the draft order is now.
Let's be honest also, the trades are so subjective where it's like, yeah, I could find the value for New England trading up to 4, but is that something that Belichick would ever really do? He's traded up a couple
Steve, you
times.
might-
It's like the number value for
Right,
each
right.
one.
What was that from?
Draft Tech.
Drafttech.com? Yeah. I've been using that for a couple of years now as a source. And it's a pretty good source. I mean, it's
No, also, but before we jump into the draft, just wanted to also give a good shout out to Fantasy Football, Fantasy Football Hustler 420 for having me and a couple others on the 420 podcast. Shit was lit in more ways than one. But great time just talking. We talked about wrestling. We talked about it was about mostly like fantasy football and a little bit of wrestling, but we got into talking about like some of our favorite weed movies or comedians. The conversation goes where it goes, and it's
Cat
certainly
Williams
worth
was
it.
there.
Yeah.
Fucking Pineapple Express was there.
We had a few things, but I just wanted to give a shout out. Thanks for
Appreciate it,
having
guys.
us, putting out great
Means a lot
content.
to
Fantasy
us.
Football Hustler 420. Rum Boys Robbie, you're my man. Being able to be greeted from you with a smile like that without ever actually seeing you, that means something to me personally, man. So I appreciate it.
And it was really cool tuning in and seeing because Rum Boys Robbie,
He extended that olive branch
he
right
was
quick
probably
to us.
the first follow I had on Twitter.
Yeah.
And I followed him right back, had a few good dialogues with him, Laquan Jones, who I believe is also on their podcast. Just a great group of guys. And
Yeah,
They are.
Speaking to you yesterday, you brought up Pineapple Express and a couple other 420. What movie, if you had to watch on 420?
Half-Baked.
Okay, thank you. Go.
I would have to, if it's not Half Baked, it's Grandma's Boy.
Okay.
How high?
Those are all good.
I'm also going Jurassic Park. I'm also going Jurassic Park because that movie scared the shit out of me as a little kid.
Because I watched that movie when I was the same age as the little boy. So that kitchen scene fucked me up because I was like, that could be me. And now I just watch it and I'm like, hide in the cabinet, my guy, hide.
That scene scared the shit out of me too. But one thing that I forgot to mention on the show, and I can't believe so obviously it's not on my top, but it should be, Dazed and Confused.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I can't believe, I feel so, such a
Original.
horrible pothead
Oh,
for not
right.
remembering that yesterday.
Hey man, you should have mentioned it. It would have been a lot cooler if you did.
Yeah.
I was having I was having a conversation with somebody at the bar the other night. We were talking about it, and they were like top 5, best stoner movies, and I was like, dude, that is so hard. I'm like, can you?
We got 4 right there.
Like, do you go with
Cheech and
like
Chong Up and Smoke.
yeah, but do you go with classics like that, or do you then
Do you go with
like,
Pink Floyd The Wall?
or do you
Because
go with like newer stuff like Grandma's Boy, Pineapple Express, like
That's
those
Tommy
are-
Boy.
It's gonna date you. It certainly will
Yeah.
date you for your generation. Because like
For
we
sure.
did, before we got to Cheech and Chong Up and Smoke, even Half Baked, we were young. We didn't smoke weed
Right.
necessarily at the time. I don't know what you guys were doing when you guys were like 6.
Like,
Randall Pink Floyd.
Rolling up with those checkerboard Vans because of that movie. Those were the
Oh, no,
only
like, there's
shoes
smoke.
that I wore the whole
And
time
what's his
in
name?
high school.
What's the one kid who always had weed? The dark hair.
Slater.
Slater. There we go.
Slater.
It's like, oh man.
Hey man, are you cool? Yeah, I guess so. No, man, it's okay. Hey, what's he talking about? He's asking if you smoke weed, man. Ben Affleck fucking gets paint dumped on his
Yup.
ass. I think that was his first movie.
Oh my god. I actually think that might have happened in real life. They just happened to film it and we're like, we're gonna throw this into the movie because Ben Affleck deserves it. That being said, I like some of the things he does, and he's a
McConaughey's all right,
he's a
all
good
right,
Batman.
his dad.
I think he's
He was a good
Batman.
director, like Hey Gone Baby Gone was actually really good. And he plays a really good villain because he's easy to hate. Like in Mallrats, it's very
Yeah.
easy to just
That's
want
true.
that guy to fall down an
I
escalator the
can't
wrong
wait for
way.
the second one. It's gonna be so
Or
good.
Dogma.
Dogma, yeah.
Well,
But
or
Matt
like-
Damon, but
or
Dogma's
like-
an example of how Matt Damon made him again because
Yeah.
don't
Or
forget,
like
he was good,
Or
but
like
Matt Damon
Jay
was
and
bad.
Silent Bob when your buddy
Which
asked you to
that
do
whole
the
juice
payback
was funny.
pics or the
Yeah.
pic
That's
that helped you
Dogma,
get
right?
launched
Huh?
for
Is he
doing
Dogma?
Yeah,
it.
a long time
Alanis
ago.
Morissette is God. I still
Yeah.
believe it.
Yeah.
And I'm Jewish. I go to the temple every time, and when I'm praying, I'll be like, Dear Mora, dear Alanis, Baruch atah Adonai.
So let's get on to the draft.
All right.
Yeah.
Draft night.
So
Draft.
the draft
pre-draft,
order was
draft night.
decided based on Adam is a Bills fan, I am a Giants fan, you guys are Jets fans.
right.
We wanted to make sure we all got to pick for our teams.
Right.
Adam made the spreadsheet, came up with the draft order. It's going to be round robin style. Since I have the 11th pick for the Giants, it also ends up that I have the first.
But we also, and just as a heads up, originally the plan was made to have Andrew included
Yes.
as well.
So-
Unfortunately, since he's not
Yeah, we'll
able
put
to
the
make it,
Jets
we'll have the pillow
pillow
here.
up.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
Andrew.
yeah,
That's
our
Andrew.
right here.
That's Andrew.
I'm not gonna try to sound like him because I can only get that angry.
God damn it!
If I get that angry, then they're gonna kick me out of the house. But nice touch.
But we've got Born Here in Spirit.
And we're gonna commutatively make the pick, and maybe those will be the best ones because that's when you actually get to see us arguing about
Yeah,
who
yeah.
thinks they know more. And I'm gonna give you a hint. I think I know more, so it's gonna get loud.
So with the first pick, in this NFL draft.
The Alpaca Boys.
The Alpaca Boys as the Jacksonville
2021 mock
Jaguars.
draft.
The Jacksonville
The
Jaguars.
Jacksonville Jaguars select Trevor Lawrence,
Quarterback Clemson.
Well. No one saw that coming.
Not at all. Not at all.
To be honest, I was waiting for him to be that guy who then takes Justin Fields just to
fucking
like
nail
piss,
him
not just piss us off, but piss all the viewers off. They're like, okay, I'm not gonna watch this. This is a bullshit mock draft.
No. We've got Trevor Lawrence coming. He's been the
Speak to Trevor Lawrence with it.
the consensus #1 pick for 2 years now.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Pretty much said for 3 years now.
Because he walked.
said, I'm
he
going
walked
to
in at
Clemson.
18 and he walked in at 18 years old and won the national championship game.
Yeah, like
How are you not like? You have to really fuck up to not be anointed after doing that. So Trevor Lawrence, consensus #1 pick. It's unfortunate that the Jets somehow managed to win a football game last year.
two.
Well, winning only one is all it took.
That's true, because if they would have tied the Jags, we still would have lost.
Yeah.
Because they had the weaker strength of schedule.
So
Really?
Yeah.
yeah. The Jets.
I guess it's because Miami overachieved. Buffalo did pretty well, and New England. Well, really, because Buffalo won the division. New England was 7-9, and what was Miami 9-7? Something like that.
Well, they're picking.
Obviously, whoever you play else outside the division. I'm just more thinking initially you're gonna play your division twice. So usually the strength of schedule.
To be honest,
it's not solely decided, but
I
there's
don't
a
remember
heavyweight to your
why
division
or how.
success.
I remember the Jaguars were favored.
Okay.
I don't remember.
Yeah, so
what the whole backstory is as to why.
It explains why you guys all went batshit crazy, especially Bourne, when you guys called cover 0 on the last play of a game.
So the Jaguars, with the first overall pick, are taking Sunshine Lawrence out of Clemson.
Right.
Love it.
I guess we'll say good pick. I mean, at this point, really, it can't be a good pick. It's only a bad pick if you don't take Trevor Lawrence at this point, right?
Yeah.
Like, I can't congratulate you.
Even coming from the hater.
You take Zach Wilson or Justin Fields with that pick, you're
losing your job if you don't make the playoffs that year.
Yeah, I mean,
You're losing your job if Trevor Lawrence busts also.
That's true. But I mean, at this
But it'll
point,
take
he is
longer.
the safest. He's the safest.
You have a lot.
Right? It'll take 3 years for Trevor Lawrence to bust before you lose your job.
Yeah.
As opposed to if they take anyone other than Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah,
And they don't. And they don't go for at least 6 wins.
No,
Right?
don't get me wrong. I think Jacksonville is better than their record. I think the fact that they had no
You
QB
are
play.
what your record says you are.
I think
don't get me wrong. They were their record, I guess. But if you honestly look at the fact that Gardner Minshew, we all love the jorts and whatnot, but let's be honest, that kid was
Like him as a dude, subpar quarterback.
he's a Ryan Fitzpatrick-like. He reminds me of like a less aggressive Ryan Fitzpatrick. He's got physical limitations,
Yes.
but it doesn't mean that he's not capable of playing the game.
Yes,
He's a
in the
little
right
bit like
system,
my
he
guy
can work
Mac
out really
Jones.
well.
Matt Jones has a more physical upside than Gardner Minshew, unfortunately.
So who's up with
You
2?
think?
Is it you or Robbie?
It's not me.
Because Matt Jones has he put on more film.
Oh, 2 is Andrew. He's gonna bitch and moan. He's taking Zach
He's
Wilson.
taking Zach Wilson. We're not going to waste your time. I mean, actually, I'm
that's
saying
fine.
that. Meanwhile, we got 2 Jets fans, so let's have them talk to it instead of me just
I mean,
fast forward.
at this point, I'm not gonna make an issue out of whether it's Zach Wilson or Justin Fields.
Yeah,
I think they're both really good prospects. One has better, the pros and cons versus the pros and cons on one side. They kind of balance each other out at this point.
I think
so.
I feel like there's a better case to be made for Justin Fields to go 1 than 2, only because of Urban Meyer. If he was Urban Meyer's dude at Ohio State, then he's
Not only that, but let's also not forget, going into this season, it was Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields as the QBs. Zach Wilson, unless you guys I watch college football, so I only watched maybe 5 or so BYU games because they're not available on the East Coast, and you can get them when you're fortunate.
when they're the game that's on ESPN3, and ESPN3 happens to be streaming on the ESPN app.
Yeah, thanks to ESPN. But so that was the way it was supposed to be, and then all of a sudden Zach Wilson has this almost Joe Burrow-like meteoric rise without having a Joe Burrow season, mind you, without
being at
the
LSU.
without playing SEC competition, and all of a sudden is above Justin Fields, which is one of the reasons why. And when we get to 3 and talk about that, I'm not sure who has 3.
I have 3.
You have 3.
I have
So we can talk about it when we get to there. But it was curious to me that don't get me wrong, I like Zach Wilson, but the way that the speed at which, or that he kind of just jumped Justin Fields like that.
I think
It must be Jets showing their cards because there's no way that
I
he's
felt
skill
that way
wise
a lot
or
about
tape-wise,
Carson
dude.
Wentz too. When Carson Wentz came out, I was like, "Who the fuck is this guy?"
Yeah.
He's
Well,
coming
they're
from
also
The
a...
Bills were watching him for a year before that, that's why I knew him.
Why weren't the Bills watching Khalil Mack,
We were,
who
but
played in Buffalo?
but at that point Doug Whaley was our GM and he wanted the flashy Sammy Watkins. And to be honest, I like Sammy Watkins too.
I mean,
there's
Sammy
a lot of
Watkins
wide-
went to
the
If he didn't suffer
Ravens
with all
is a
those
great
injuries, he would've been
signing
great.
for them.
Yeah, and it was also a lot of wide receiver. That was a deep wide receiver class. You had Mike Evans, you had OBJ, you had a
And
lot.
coming out of Clemson, Sammy Watkins was phenomenal.
Yeah, he wasn't as
He
good
was
as Nuke in my opinion. I thought that he was kind of like that. But look,
Well, no one's as good as Nuke.
I'm sorry,
I was
Stephon
also
Diggs is
watching
better.
a lot of videos recently too. With,
At least he was last year.
with
But
Justin Fields.
at least he was last
What
year.
takes?
At least he was last year.
What it takes.
Don't get me wrong, they are both phenomenal wide receivers. We're nitpicking. They both do their things better. If you want to say who's the better in a vacuum, I'm going to say Stephon
Who
Diggs.
has
as
better
long as-
stat line by the end of 2021?
Stephon Diggs.
Yeah,
Really?
Because I trust
I'm gonna
Josh Allen more than Kyler Murray at this point.
Do you want to
Yeah.
bet on that?
Yes, I do.
Wait, are we water betting again? Water
I am more
second water bet.
I will be happy to lose that one. I'll be happier to lose that one than the first one. Because that first one,
Oh shit, and that gives me
That
something
one
else to
was-
do. Now I'm cutting 2 clips. We're taking the water bet from a couple weeks ago. We're taking this one. We're going 2 water bets up on
Something
El
tells me I'm
Paso.
going to end up in a lot of water.
We're just gonna end up
Hey,
drowning
see.
Adam at the end of the season. It's
I
gonna
gotta
be like,
slip and
sorry, my
slide.
guy.
You can go
Sorry,
down
my
slip and
guy.
slide.
Just do me a favor and do all the fans a favor. Don't put me in a Speedo. They don't want to see that. That's how you lose.
Nobody
viewers.
wants to see that, bro. Don't worry.
Don't.
about it.
I'm a pretty narcissistic
grapes?
motherfucker, and I don't want to see
Who's
that.
smuggling grapes?
Mainly because I've seen myself in a Speedo, and it ain't pretty. I got some very chicken and pasty legs.
So we got Trevor
Dude.
Lawrence, then we got Zach Wilson,
And now we come
with
to where the
third
draft
pick
really
in the
starts.
NFL
The
draft.
third pick.
Where's the draft start?
With the
So,
third pick in the NFL draft.
Who's the big three at this point? So you got Mac Jones,
Justin
you got
Fields.
Justin Fields, and you got Trey Lance. You know, to me, for the 49ers to trade what they gave away to get up to number 3, I can't see them taking a pick like Mac Jones. I don't think he's got the
You don't think
skill
he's the number
set.
3 guy?
I don't think he is. I don't think he has a skill set to earn that spot. The NFL is going in a direction where these new quarterbacks that are successful have a quality run game. They're fast guys. They're guys that are going to move around in the pocket. I don't think Mac Jones is that guy. So that leaves me with Justin Fields and Trey Lance. I think solely, because Trey Lance didn't play last year, he didn't really show. We don't know if he got any better from the year before.
He played the one game, and it really wasn't a good show. Now, granted, it was a very makeshift attempt to just
Right.
get him one game for NFL scouts, but
I mean, he could be.
But we can't ignore the fact
was
that
a
it
bad
wasn't.
showing.
It was a bad show. Yeah, it's one of those where it's like you don't prepare well and you don't show well. It only hurts you, kind of thing. So
So
and it sucks, but
My
I'm
pick is
Trey Lance
Justin Fields, number 3.
going Justin Fields.
Where's he from?
Ohio State.
I agree with
The
Where?
the Ohio State. I agree with
State.
you, speak of that.
So-
Okay.
I'm gonna be honest. I like the one. Now, don't get me wrong. You guys heard me on the last episode. I like Trey Lance. Like I would find a
So
way.
do
If I
I.
had the first overall pick, either I would take him or I would trade down and find a way to take him. There's just
Well-
something about him that I love. I love the fact that he came like the same with Josh Allen out of Wyoming or just, Carson Wentz out of North Dakota State. Also,
That's not my guy. Don't point at me when you say that.
I pointed him because you mentioned him. I'm sorry, I didn't say it's your boy the way that you do with other people that I wish you wouldn't. But the point being is that these guys came from these systems where they came from under center. So not just the snap from under center, but there's something about your ability to play action, to extend that arm, to sell the run with your back to the defense, turn around and figure out, did I face
If you
was
can't
it a
sell the
cover-
play action, you're getting sacked.
Yes.
So
And that's just step 1. Now you have to snap your head around and you have to realize, okay, they were in cover 2, it looked like before. Was that a shell for a cover 3? Or was it actually
was it cover
2?
6 show 2?
Right.
Are
They
they
blitzing and
Is
they
it-
showed zone or man coverage.
They didn't show if it was man or zone, so do I know that guy who's running the cross around? Is he going to sit in zone or is he going to keep running because it's man? And
Did
you have to
that
figure
linebacker
out.
blitz or did he drop back? Is he lurking there? What's going on?
And you have to
Yep.
figure that out in a very, very short
Right.
split second. What you're talking about is hitting a baseball being one of the most difficult things.
Right.
Being able to process a play-action play at a young age, I believe, is also a very difficult
Instincts,
thing.
dude.
But
Can't be taught.
the only person
Yeah.
that has shown that on a consistent basis that can do that is Trey Lance. And so that's another reason why I'm a sucker for somebody who shows me something, because it's much easier to project something if you've shown success out of it at a lower level. I'm not saying Justin Fields can't do it, but it's much easier to say, okay, I understand it was North Dakota State and they're not playing anybody. Let's be honest, Zach Wilson wasn't really playing many people either. The one time he played Coastal Carolina on a very brave game on their part because it was a last-minute game and they didn't have any game plan and they showed admirably there. So I'm not trying to hold it against him. But the point being that he has not played great competition either, and nobody is saying that's why he shouldn't go second. Or the people who are saying that are not saying it loudly enough to deafen anything beyond the fact that
I think it's because Zach Wilson's not as mobile as Trey Lance. So guys that can run tend to get...
I don't think he's less mobile.
If you watch the tape, he can.
I think Trey Lance is more of like a...
He just chose not to run the 40, and we don't know what that number is.
Right.
I mean,
Lamar Jackson chose not to run the 40.
Justin Fields ran it. Is he the only one at the top 4 that ran it? And I know Matt Jones also ran like a 4.8 something.
I don't know if Lance did or not.
Which is impressive.
That's a good time, yeah.
That's a good time. I couldn't run a 4.8.
Yeah, I run about a 5.8.
No,
I'm still running the one that we
5.8.
started like 5 years ago at Seville's Park.
Yeah.
So with the 4th pick in the NFL draft,
So this is where we get to... we got
Actually, yeah. So the
the
fourth pick.
Atlanta Falcons will select Michael Vick, quarterback. Oh shit!
What?
Sorry.
It's not 2001, bro.
Yeah, sorry. Where's
My bad.
that 2000?
It's a little 20 years later to me.
He
Sorry.
was on the cover
Cover
of
of
Madden
01.
01.
So it must
20
have
years
been
ago.
in 2000 he was drafted.
He was on the cover of Madden 04.
No.
Was he
Eddie George was on the cover of Madden 01.
You're right.
04 was the first one we played, and it was
That was the first
Falcons
one I
Vick.
owned. Yeah, that was the first
Vick
one I
was
owned.
the first guy to be on 2 covers of Madden, and one was as a Falcon and one was
an
as
eagle.
an eagle.
I remember
It's a
that.
curse.
Outside,
That's why LaDainian Tomlinson turned it down.
there's only one player that defied the curse.
Lamar Jackson.
No, his
Well.
season was very bad last year compared to what we expected. It was a
Tom
good
Brady.
season.
Yeah.
Oh, on the 50th anniversary.
But he wasn't the only one on that one, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Like
Ray Lewis. Ray Lewis.
Ray
was on
Lewis
it.
was on twice.
Got hurt. No, he was on once.
He was on the first time for the original, and then he was on like the 20th anniversary.
Yeah.
It was they did 2 covers for the same year of Madden. One was him standing up as a full person, and one was zoomed in just on his face.
Oh, I thought they were
if you
different
got
years.
the collector's
I thought they were
edition.
different years. Yeah, I didn't pay that money for that. At that point, man, I wasn't even making my own
I
money.
did.
That was allowance. I had to
It
save
was
up for a
60.
long
It was
time.
only $10 difference is why I did it. It was
Yeah,
$60 instead of $50.
Yeah, I didn't get that much.
What's your
allowance.
pick, bro?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Now that we're actually gonna get back to it.
Hey, we're in the basement. Snag out the M&Ms and call it like Roger Goodell does.
No, if there were M&Ms, they would be right over here. You know that.
That's true. They would be. So with the 4th pick, the Atlanta Falcons.
With the 4th pick in the
fourth
NFL
pick.
draft.
In actuality, I think that they are going to trade this down because they should. Most likely, I would say maybe Denver, maybe New England, but that's something to get into later. Since
New
we
England
cannot,
trading up to 4
No
would be
trades.
impressive.
No, everybody
Yeah.
stays. And
No,
there's
but the Denver
trades.
one is the Denver one's actually a good call out because while they can sit there and get somebody to drop to them, if they have a guy they love and they don't, and they're not, obviously not selling Drew Lock, that 9 to 4 is a much more feasible drop. Or jump.
And it's just like with wide receivers.
So I
You
can say
go up
every-
and get it.
in
You
theory,
want
if,
it, go up and
Denver is
get it.
looking, in theory, if Denver is looking for a top 5 QB to bring in to challenge Locke instead of actually getting a veteran,
They have Drew
this is
Lock,
probably where they
Who
would
I
do
think
it.
Well,
is
not only that-
statistically the 34th best quarterback in the NFL.
Which is bad when there's only 32 teams.
but it's not.
the worst.
We know.
But the,
we had
but the
Sandgar.
point that I also wanted to
I
build on
think it was
that.
about 40.
But to build on Rob's point really quickly is that he's talking about like if they're one of those quarterbacks. We just saw like if Justin Fields goes there, right? If Mac Jones goes, Denver's got to feel a little more comfortable
Yeah.
getting either one of the
Yes.
mobile and the prototype
Yes.
21st century quarterback that we're looking for kind of thing. I think, and since we're at there, this is exactly where like
Like where you
somebody would, if Denver wanted to, this is what
kind of
Denver
have to
would.
be
for
that.
sure.
Like
For
you're
sure.
under the gun at
Scenario.
this point. It's
Yeah.
pick 4, 3 quarterbacks have already gone.
And the 3 that you want out of the 4. That's
Yes,
a very
there's
good
really
point.
only 1, 2
On the
more
flip
left.
side, though, 3 quarterbacks have gone, so all the position players. are
Which
still
is, I
there.
think, where he's
Yes.
going. But
Yeah,
we keep
so
interrupting him.
now since we can't trade and we're going best overall, as Matt just brought up, position players are going, yo, my pick in this position has to be Pitts.
Thank you.
Like, best
Thank you.
overall position player in the draft. Like, dude's a beast. We've all said it at different times.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
If I
Like,
couldn't trade out of the first...
Probably the best player in the draft.
Right, and you're drafting
Right, if
NFL
you need a QB,
players.
If you didn't need a QB at 1,
I think 1 is a stretch only because Megatron.
If you
was
can't
No,
there.
but
trade
you're saying,
down.
if you
If you
can't
cannot
like,
trade
if
out.
you can't trade out,
if you can't trade out and you don't get what you're looking for at 1, I take Kyle Pitts.
I
Yeah.
would not.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
by
what a
far the
blessing! What a
best player on the
blessing
board.
to be forced to take Kyle Pitts.
Right. Like,
What a blessing.
You'll catch a lot of flack for it, but because
You
people will
will,
say,
but-
"Oh, you're drafting 10 first." We're caveating it with a lot of
Yeah,
like, you can't
right.
trade out. We're not looking for a QB.
There's always that-
6'5", 4'4". I don't care whether it's
Yeah.
TE or WR. The guy's running out there and he's catching the ball.
Right.
I don't give a shit
Listen,
what letters
you
he
also
is.
had the other side of the coin where we had O.G. Howard, we had who else? David and Njoku, all these other guys that were
Yeah,
going to
they
kill
went
it.
early.
They were going to kill it, right?
And they were
And
not as
They
good.
went like in
They
the
were not
20s.
as-
But then you have
Well, you, be
Travis
careful with that
Kelce,
phrasing, man, because Kyle Pitts and Aaron Hernandez went to the same school.
Played the same position, so we don't need Kyle Pitts killing it.
You have Travis Kelce. You have what's his name
That
from the
was
49ers?
George Kittle.
George
Kittle.
It
Kittle.
was. I was
You
more
mean-
like, I don't know whether I should laugh in public.
yeah.
But you're right.
All
Darren
these
Waller.
guys that are taken in the middle of the draft.
Darren Waller, was he undrafted by the Ravens?
Darren Waller had an opioid problem
He did.
and
That's
actually
why
was
he
on
dropped.
the
Broncos, I believe, before he went to rehab, came back, and went to the
And the
Ravens.
Ravens-
Watch a
Chance.
documentary. It's a good one.
No, he's a
Yeah,
great
it was,
successful.
yeah,
You know who else
yeah,
is?
yeah.
And you're
Oh,
going to
maybe
turn
it
you
was
on
the
to
Ravens. It was the Ravens drafted him, went
Yes.
to, and then he went to rehab.
Either he drafted
came
or
back as a Raider.
or he was undrafted for
Yes.
the Raiders. Reminds me also James Jones. Brother was homeless.
Oh, love that guy.
Brother was
Yeah,
homeless.
he was homeless.
On the streets. And turned himself into
There
a
was
very
a guy in the
serviceable
Super
wide
Bowl.
receiver who won a ring.
There was a guy in the practice squad for the Browns that was on what's the show?
Hard Knocks?
Hard Knocks. He was on the practice squad, or he was like trying to make the roster, but not ended up making the roster. But
Was
he
it the tight end
scored-
Kajuste?
He scored. No, was it?
The tight end Kajuste out of
No. He had a
saw that
punt
earlier,
return
too.
for a touchdown during the preseason.
Oh, definitely not this guy.
Yeah.
He was not returning punts.
That was
awesome.
that was
He
he
didn't
didn't make the team, but it's another story.
That was the guy who
Listen to
lied
this,
about
yeah.
being invited to show up.
Yeah.
And he just showed up. And they were like,
Who was that? The Brown guy?
yeah, the guy in the Browns. He just showed up. And
He was
like-
homeless.
And he was like, yeah, the coach told me to come. And they were like,
okay, I guess so. Come on in.
Security wasn't great
And
back then.
then ran like, the guy ran like a 4.3 when they were running, and then in the preseason game returned the punt for a touchdown, and then ended up not
He
getting.
was
it
doing
done.
like drills underneath a bridge and shit. It's pretty crazy.
Call him the troll. So who has the 5th pick?
I do. And I'm going to stir things up a bit because this is actually where I think Cincinnati's going to go. And I think
So
it's
with
going
the
to stir things
5th
up.
pick in the NFL draft,
The Bengals select.
Boo.
I like how they just fast forward me to that. I don't get to do it like a prequel. It's like I know I talk a lot, but
well, that's how I've been trying to get everybody else to do it.
Well, but I figured we would get through like 15. We'll take a quick halftime break, and then we'll come back with the other 15.
16 would be halftime.
You're right.
So who are we taking at 5? my
15
guy?
was my last one in the middle because I had Patriots. So
You know those YouTube videos where it's like your soul dropped out of them?
it was right.
I like the
YouTube
videos
short.
where it's like
It
the
was
two
right.
Asian dudes and the one guy's doing magic tricks
Oh, he's
and
just
his buddy's
showing how
sitting
it's
there.
done.
to him, like, fucking the trick up.
I love that so much.
That shit's funny.
No, the best is
My
with the
bad, my
spoon.
bad.
The guy's got the spoon on, with the wooden spoon in his mouth, and he's pretending to hit the guy.
Oh,
on
and
the
then
head.
his friend slaps the shit out of him. Yeah.
Those are my favorite.
Have you seen that?
No, I watch ESPN, NFL Network, and
Oh
sports
my
stuff. That's
God.
why I know my shit.
This dude got a smartphone 3 weeks ago.
I got my smartphone at the
We
start of
tell him we're
2020.
doing a podcast and he has to go on
an
Twitter. He goes,
iPhone
what the
too.
fuck is Twitter?
Before the start of 2020, but yeah.
And I had a Twitter account on my computer too, just because Ink Master's the shit, and you should vote for who you think should win on those. Because not only that, like we
I'm
know
so happy Ink Master's on Netflix, by the way.
There's a couple seasons, yeah.
Kyle
That dude
Trask,
Josh
was that your pick?
The neck tattoo and the button up. He
Doing
got
smoke
kicked
a lot
off
of
for
weed?
smoking weed.
Bengals select.
So here's the thing: everybody is saying Penei Sewell because you got to protect Joe Burrow. You got to protect Joe Burrow, and I'm not saying that you don't have to protect Joe Burrow.
Okay.
I'm not.
Okay.
But you do have a couple O linemen already on the roster. You have Jonah Williams, who you drafted a couple years ago.
Last
out of
year.
He
Alabama.
didn't play at all
2 years
last year,
ago.
right?
John Williams was 2 years ago?
2 years ago, he didn't play last year because he got hurt. Or he didn't play his first year. He played last year. But yeah, so they drafted him 2 years ago. They
I like him coming out of Bama.
they signed Riley Rife, who is a Minnesota Viking and a Lion before here. He's one of those guys who succeeded on the tackle position with despite short arms, kind of like Beecham, Kelvin Beecham, played for the Jets before after he played for Pittsburgh. I think Carolina or Cardinals were there somewhere too. But The point being is that so they brought him in, and so they don't need a tackle necessarily. They could play him a tackle. They could bump him in a guard because he's got the shorter arms. They still do have Billy Price, who they drafted in the first round a couple years ago, who's never
The
been
guy
able
who
to
tore
kind
his
of-
pectoral, so he couldn't do the bench press.
which was a shame because he was
That
going to put
guy?
up
Oh,
40.
yeah.
Like they were
Yeah.
saying he was going to be able to put up 40. And then they drafted
And they
a
still
couple,
drafted him in the first round.
and then they also drafted a couple late round tackles who were they were fans of them in the draft circles. You know, when people get fans of the late round circles, like Hakeem Adelaj. I always screw up his name. Adeliji. Out of Kansas. He was one of those guys where like he could get like second round love, and I think he went in like the 5th round or something like that. But the point being is that when you get those young guys in the 5th round, you don't draft somebody in the 5th round with I hope he makes the roster. You hopefully did your homework and you believe that this guy in a role can make your roster, kind of thing. So the point being, and also I believe that the wide receiver class is very top heavy in this. I think that you do get deep and there are some sleepers down there. But I do believe that there is a drastic trail off after you hit the top 5, in my opinion.
Top
5 of Jamar Chase, Jalen Waddle, Devontae Smith, Rashad Bateman, and Terrence Marshall. I feel there's a big drop off after there with massive question marks. I know I'm on Ross St. Brown. I know you're a fan of him.
But
and I
don't
That's
think
not
he's
personal
as
talent.
good as those other guys. Yeah, I completely agree. I think
I think
those
they're
guys
more
are
diff-
separate, and then I feel like there's a good chunk of like tier 2 guys. But those tier 2 guys that are in that chunk are not like they're tier 2.
And they have
It's
the
not tier
potential
1.
for tier 1, but
I think they're different type of receivers. If you're talking about number 1 receivers, outside receivers. Your next tier are a bunch of slot receivers who can be your number 1.
Larry Fitz played slot last 3 years.
that's something that actually Bruce Arians really made famous with, not famous, but to me, he brought it to my attention when he moved Reggie Wayne to the slot at Indy when he was the OC there for Andrew Luck. And all of a sudden,
Extended
Reggie Wayne
his
had
career
like,
like 6 years.
yeah,
Right.
he extended his career. And then he goes and happens to be the head coach in Arizona where...
He
And
has
we
an
bumped
age-
Larry
an
Fitzgerald
aging Larry
inside,
Fitzgerald,
and Larry
yeah.
Fitzgerald has shown. It's like,
Yeah.
hey man, I know how to run routes. I may not be fast, but technique separates. And all you need in the NFL is
Yeah.
separation and
Yeah.
a decent QB.
Yeah.
But when you're on the wrong side of 30, like
That's-
we all are,
And you have that technique at route running, it's better utilized in the slot.
That's kind of how I see this year's draft class for the wide receiver class.
Well, a lot of those tier 2 guys, that's what I see
Slots,
them
yeah.
doing. I see them more as like very useful gadget guys. A lot of them, I know I said it a couple episodes, like Amon-Ra St. Brown gives me big Percy Harvin vibes.
Yep.
Like,
The one thing that I will say, and like I know you didn't mean it that way, I hate the word gadget when you talk about wide receiver because it's almost like game manager for quarterback.
I think he would.
I don't mean
A
it like
shifty,
that.
a shifty type of wide receiver that can get open.
Right, if you're a slot
think you should
only
be
wide
talking
receiver,
about
like if you're a
gadget.
slot only wide receiver, you don't have the stature. That doesn't mean that you're not valuable. It doesn't mean you're just a gadget guy where you have to design plays for you.
No.
It means that you just obviously are not expected to win on the outside the way that
I also
the way that
don't
Rodney
mean-
White said the big boys do.
and I agree with that. The big boys.
Oh, when
play
he
on the
said
outside.
that, you basically cheat
That-
your pants.
Yeah, that was like
My
my
mantra for years.
That's only because he's taller than me. Let's be honest. That's the big.
Well, he
reason.
also can't cover me. And he covered
Alright.
these guys in the back.
So who the fuck is your pick, dude?
The Bengals are going to go Jamar Chase.
Yeah.
Jamar
They're gonna
Chase?
be-
Wow.
They are going to,
Which
and I
means
think
the Dolphins at 6 will take Penei Sewell. Keep it rolling.
Oh well.
You think
okay.
so?
Yeah.
Well, he's the Dolphins, so he's got that.
Yeah, I have the Dolphins pick.
Alright, so
Why
my
would? Oh no,
God.
serious
So-
question though. Speak to it really quickly. Why would they go Penei Sewell? Like they have, we can't trade down obviously, but there are offensive weapons like you've still got obviously Jalen Waddle and Devontae Smith, who you love because he won the Heisman.
I do like Devontae
You know,
Smith.
Well, I mean, where do
so,
we think the
they
Dolphins
took-
are at right now? Do they?
So they love to. I think the Dolphins are in on Tua.
They traded
Yes.
Laramie Tunsil. I don't know if the gas mask had to do anything with it.
the draft picks that they got.
Oh my
they
God.
robbed Bill O'Brien. Anybody who traded with Bill O'Brien.
Well, Bill
it was
O'Brien
them.
was like, "Hey man, I'm fucked, so I'm gonna fuck these guys as hard as I can. You want like 9? Here, take them."
So they got rid of Tunsil, but Tua is he's a little guy, man. He's fragile. You gotta
Yeah, he needs to
protect
be
him.
protected.
No, and I agree.
So I think if the Bengals go Jamar Chase, keep that LSU connection.
that's sort
Joe
of what I thought, too.
Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, LSU. You know, obviously they had success together, and for me, that's Sewell falling to the Dolphins. I've done a bunch of mocks where the Bengals take Sewell, and I have the Dolphins take Jamar Chase at 6. So depending on what the Falcons do, I feel like that
Those
that
3 picks are very very fluid.
Like 4 through 6 is kind of.
The one thing I will say also, a big reason I went Jamar Chase is like you can look at the fact that they got T. Higgins at the top of the second round last year. You can look at the fact that they extended Tyler Boyd out of Pitt.
They lost John Ross.
They lost John. That was a addition by subtraction. No offense.
It was, man.
No,
He was never
Giants. That's why I said
never available.
Well, he went to the Giants. That's why I said no offense. But
he's going to be great now.
The point being is like a good time to sign to draft somebody when you need multiple of a position is when you just give big money to another guy of that position. Because if you balance a rookie contract, even a top 5 pick, with a Tyler Boyd contract where you just gave him Sterling Shepard type of money. Because those guys are on that tier 2 wide receivers and they earned exactly what they deserve and whatnot. The point being is that this is the financial time, and that's one thing that I think that people neglect when they look at drafts. Drafts, a lot of times people are looking at what is your immediate need. You got to draft that in the first round, but it's not a lot of times that first round guy is an impact. And not only that, but the team is a business, and you know the people making the decisions are focusing on the dollars. And so if you're going to focus on the dollars. They're looking at it and saying, for example, we just invested in Jonah Williams 2 years ago, and we just signed Riley Reef to a contract, and we have a couple other interior O-linemen that are still on contracts that we have to pay for. So at some point, how can we stretch our dollar the most? And when you have all your wide receivers being unrestricted free agents or restricted free agents after this year, outside of the extended Tyler Boyd and the sophomore T. Higgins, it makes more sense than it seems on the surface to look at a guy like Jamar Chase, especially like you said, when you've got that chemistry from college.
Do they still have Wentworth?
No, he's been on the Rams for a bit, if he's still there. He was looking at retirement, but they keep bringing him back because he's still good. At least
Isn't he still a free agent?
Can you imagine a dude like that who's just an ogre who just wants to go home and eat stew?
Well, speaking to your point, and actually we just said a minute ago that picks 4 through 6 are very fluid. One of the other things I was going to mention at 4 with Atlanta is that, yes, they do have Matt Ryan right now, but there have been a few mocks where they do pick up a quarterback at 4.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they went
because of the
Trey
rookie
Lance.
contract and financially speaking, it would actually give them a much better financial situation 3 years from now than necessarily not picking up a QB and having to deal with the whole Matt Ryan.
I got you.
Yeah, no, he's fine. So
he brought it up last week.
Yeah, you were.
When I was doing the film study, Adam went into a lot of detail about how much dead cap Atlanta has and how far down the road they kicked the can.
By extending him this
They're like $60 million committed to him over the next 3 years, whether he's on the team or not.
Which is,
and then 40 next year and then 20 the last.
And that was the reason
it's not like Jamarcus Russell where it's like, I'll pay you $60 million to fuck off. Like, Matt Ryan...
And
you're paying the guy, you may as well get what he's
there for a little bit.
Yeah, well, and that actually was the defense for most of those mocks. I shouldn't say defense, but that was the counterpoint to most of those mocks, and then picking a quarterback was because they have all this dead cat, they have to do it.
But it is a valid point, because here's the thing: is a lot of mock drafts will constantly point to teams that they've been trying to say the Chargers will replace Phillip Rivers' replacement while he was still on the roster. The Steelers will do it. The Giants, when they had Eli Manning, will do it. They were the only ones to actually do it. Very rarely do we see.
And they drafted a guy who went to the Manning passing camp.
Right. They stayed in
Eli was like, hey, this is probably the guy.
Yeah, they basically stayed in family, the way that college basketball coaches in some programs will do. I hear the media talk about that concept, and I agree from a very responsible and I'm okay not winning this year perspective. I'm okay with it. I also don't think the Falcons are as bad as their record was. I think they actually have a chance to be that giant wild card who makes the playoffs and makes a noise.
It's true.
So who had 7? Was it this fucking guy?
Was it?
Or the Jets, actually. I don't want to discredit you guys when the Patriots were winning the division, but with Rex Ryan, you guys made the playoffs and you made some noise a couple of years.
Who has 7?
I don't want to discredit that.
Dude,
hey, who has 7?
7 at the Lions would be Bourne. So we're on this one, and so nice. We get a
man. So is this a group decision?
Yeah.
Well, I know what I'm going with, but you guys can start it off.
I'm inclined to take a quarterback here if I'm the Lions.
Okay, I love this. I want to hear this.
Oh, they don't have Stafford
this.
anymore. They have Jared Goff.
They have Jared Goff.
Yeah, he's trash. That's all you got to hear. I'm inclined to do that too.
No,
I don't think they will though.
I want to hear what he's got to say though.
I mean, that's it. I mean, I don't think Goff is the answer. I think they just picked him up to maybe play a year. And I mean, look, if you have Mac Jones and Trey Lance at the board at 7, which you probably are. I mean, there's.
See, I can see them going Jalen Waddle or Micah Parsons more than.
Man, I can't see.
Or even Surtain or J.C. Horn. Like, I don't see them going quarterback.
Yeah, but listen, the Rams gave up on Goff because they knew he wasn't the one. So
he's not
wait,
the one.
What does how much does the Lions have invested on Goff? I have no idea.
I'm about to. I actually have it right here. I'm bringing it up. That's what I was looking up. He's only about $10 million or so against the cap this year, but he's counting 30 or so for the next couple of years.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, no, they because they extended him last year and then they traded him.
Oh man.
So
this is SpotRack.com has all of the.
But no,
all of the contracting
I
stuff.
agree with you from a talent perspective. You need to upgrade on Goff.
Oh man, I didn't realize the numbers were like that.
They made the decision, in my opinion.
That's a lot of money.
But here's the thing: this is what you do. You got a bunch of draft picks from that trade, right? So you take Jared Goff, who is serviceable. You're right; he's not going to take you to the next level, but he's serviceable. You use all those draft picks to build a good team. That team develops, and then you off-ship Jared Goff, you bring in a rookie quarterback with a team that you've established with all those draft picks and whatnot, and you are ready to roll in the next 3 years. The Lions, no, like they just had a new head coach, a new GM, and all that stuff. They know that they have time. They are not coming into a made roster and expecting to make the playoffs immediately. They're like, if in 3 years they're not making playoff noise, I don't mean just making the playoffs, but playoff noise, then we can talk about there being a problem, because that means they didn't draft well.
Mm-hmm.
We're neglecting something here with our draft picks.
And what's that?
It's the Lions, and they're probably going to fuck it up.
Why? The Lions did a lot of things right. They chose Megatron. They chose Matt Stafford.
Stafford,
Sorry,
he's been a very serviceable quarterback for a long time. Drafted
Barry Sanders. They've made a lot of poor decisions as well.
This is a scrape in the barrel there.
Of course, I'm looking at. I'm grabbing a little.
They drafted like 6 wide receivers in the first round, year after year after year.
Yeah, don't worry.
Megatron.
Yeah, but the best part is then
That's like one carrot at the bottom of the soup when you're a quick check and you're like, I just want this motherfucker. Why can't I get it with the ladle?
This guy looking for carrots. He needs
Can you put Can you put the board back up, please?
Oh yeah, sorry. So, so they have an investment there. That being said. That shouldn't stop him. If you think, like, for example, quarterback is that position where if you think, like, Trey Lance, for example, or if you think Mac Jones is...
Yes, that's true. If that's your
guy... If
guy,
that is the guy, you've watched draft classes before, this is in their first year being in the NFL. So if you've seen somebody...
Rodeo.
Yeah, not my first rodeo. So if this is like if you see, so like, if you look at Trey Lance and you are in love with him, the way that like the Buffalo Bills seem to be in love with Josh Allen, the way that the Chiefs seem to be in love to trade up all the way from 30 to 10 and give up another first round to get Pat Mahomes. Like, if you love a guy, you love a guy.
So wait, the Falcons were committed to $60 million pretty much in guarantees for Matt Ryan. Right?
It's a $60 million cap hit if they were to move on from this year. It's about 40 or so next year, and it's about 20 the year
What's the
after.
difference between that type of scenario versus what they have in Goff?
So instead of 20 a year, it's 30 a year for golf.
Right. So you're looking at 40 for Matt Ryan and 30 for Goff.
No, 20 for Ryan and 30 for Goff.
So here's the thing.
Each year.
Give me 1 quick second. I'm pulling up Jared Goff right here. So basically, right here, we've got the dead cap values per year if he were to release. We're in 2021,
Young
so
Jamie with the numbers.
It would be almost 41 million if he were to be released this year. He's not getting released this year. So if next year, hypothetically, you draft a quarterback and by next year you want him to start, you would basically be on the hook for about $31 million in cap hit, or $30 million if you were to cut him. So it's a dead even. So he would be a very expensive backup if he were to be backing up it, or he'd be a starter and you would have a second year of a top 10 rookie quarterback sitting, which doesn't happen outside of, I think, Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, I think I'd still take the quarterback, bro.
Okay, no, hey.
I think I still would.
I like this
I think
because
I'm the Lions and like they know Goff is not. They picked up Goff knowing he's not the answer.
I like this because
This is Bourne's pick though, right?
Yeah, but
so
I
you get to vote on this.
Don't get me wrong. I disagree with what I think they're gonna do, but I'm really liking what he's putting down because it's different, and I like different because we all see hundreds of mock drafts, and they're very very similar. There's 3 names that you always see. I don't see quarterback going here, and I like it.
I'm gonna switch it up. I would say
depending on how the draft board
Trey
falls. I think Detroit might trade down.
You're absolutely right.
But there's no trades, right? You tried to trade your pick too. Come on.
4, 7, 8, very prime trade. No,
What the fuck is this?
No, but let him get his takeout. Like if he thinks that they're going to trade down, let him put it on tape because I think that's a very good point.
I think there's a good chance they may trade down with Dallas, because Jerry Jones has been talking about trading up to this spot the last 2 weeks.
If the lines were smart,
that's another point. Mainly if Kyle Pitts was still there.
If Kyle Pitts is still there, yes.
But so you're thinking quarterback, and which quarterback?
Trey Lance.
Okay, so
if they're picking
take the shot at Trey Lance.
So you're going with Trey Lance. Let's work around this way.
If they pick here,
I want you guys to try to now convince me against Trey Lance because he's kind of got me sold on it for this mock draft.
If they pick here,
because you know I like Trey Lance.
Or if they pick here at 7,
so let's go around here.
Micah Parsons.
Micah Parsons. I like that. No, honestly, I love Micah Parsons. I think Micah Parsons is that. I'm not gonna say generational talent, but he's
that guy though.
He's a unique talent at the linebacker position.
So I was gonna say, like, I could see them going Micah Parsons. It's been a long time since Detroit has had that like knockdown linebacker.
Yeah.
I feel like he would be that guy. I could also see them going Patrick Surtain right here, or Jalen Waddle, or
stop throwing a wide net, man. Maybe give me one name.
One pick.
Give me one name.
I can see him going a lot of ways.
Come on,
because also you said it a couple weeks ago when we were just chilling.
Like, you want to build a team and then bring a rookie quarterback into a good team.
I think I actually just mentioned that's what the Lions' plan, I think, is.
You want to set them up for success. So I could see them, with what's left, taking Rashawn Slater.
Okay. Taking the tackle?
Okay.
Yeah.
You think he's going to play tackle or guard?
I think Rashawn Slater's probably going to play tackle.
You start him at tackle, you let him fail to guard. That's always the way it works. I think that's
Yeah.
like that's what the Bills did with Cody Ford. And I think Slater is a superior talent to Cody Ford.
All right.
I think if he goes to a team that
I think they probably go Rashawn Slater. Jared Goff is still young enough that
you want to protect
moving
from,
on
like,
to
he
the
brought a team
smiling
to
man
the
in the
Super Bowl.
corner who's been smiling since we brought this up.
this motherfucker's about to click Trey Lance and then we're on to the next one.
All right, so this is why you shouldn't just assume, guys, because you make an ass out of not me. But I really like the idea of going with the quarterback because I do like Trey Lance. When I compare Trey Lance to quarterback, we did the exercise in an episode or two ago where we looked at other draft classes, and we didn't specifically talk about my opinion on Trey Lance compared to other classes.
The camera died. We actually didn't get to talk about a lot of it.
I would put Trey Lance above a bunch. Like, I had him above Josh Allen as a prospect, and maybe Josh Allen's success at this point and his ability to also adapt to his learning thing has changed my perception on somebody's ability to learn when they get to a level, as long as you have the desire and a foundational skill set. I also did my most recent mock draft, which is going to change, but I actually had the Lions taking Rashawn Slater, so I actually really do like that pick. But with all that being said, I'm going to agree with Rob, and I'm going to go with Micah Parsons, and this is my reasoning. I think Micah Parsons can be that QB of the defense. I think that you're rebuilding this entire team. This team is starting from the background up. You know that you don't have any expectations.
Bro? Trying to scroll this.
You gotta be on that little area.
Yeah,
you got.
I was.
You gotta be. You want to build
this
that
little
team.
baby mouse is too small.
You want to. You got a big hand. My bad.
Scroll up, dude. Scroll up.
Let me.
I'll take care of it. I'll take care of it. Now that's not my pick. The point being, though, I like the Micah Parsons one because I think you got to rebuild this team basically from the studs up.
Okay.
And I think getting a captain on the defense, getting your quarterback of the defense, is a very, very good start.
And that's exactly what Micah Parsons is.
And that's what Micah Parsons is. Especially after Jarrod Davis, who was less versatile.
Jarrod.
Yeah. Went to the Jets. And now they have a very big void at that middle of the field on that second level. I'm gonna.
Well, CJ Mosley rolled his ankle.
So good on you,
and
Rob.
has been out for 2 years.
Could be.
I'm impressed.
Good pick,
All right,
Dylan this week.
Panthers.
Who's up next with the 8th pick in the
NFL
draft?
Panthers. I got the Panthers. All right, so the Panthers.
Another trade potential if we were.
Who do we got? Who we got on the board? Is Mac Jones on the top?
That's also
there we
the
go.
That's the predictive.
No, there are better
Oh
players.
wow! So
Yes.
you still have all right. So the Panthers take Sam Darnold. They give up a 2, a 4, and a 6.
A future 2 and a future
4
They gave up
and
a
this
6.
and this year's 6.
Okay, I was trying to remember. I forgot if this is 4 or 6.
Yeah, it was
Really, in
sixth
the
round pick
grand
this year.
scheme
They were
of
like,
things, they
here's
have
some
not
pocket sand.
sold the farm for Sam Darnold.
No.
Oh,
They
we're
really haven't.
getting-
They haven't taken that much.
Please tell me.
Right?
Stir it up. Stir it up.
They haven't taken that much.
Stir it up.
Listen, so I mean, we have Trey Lance, we have Matt Jones on the board, right? Matt Rule, a big reason why he interviewed for the Jets.
Oregon guy, right?
No, he was
Sam Darnold. He's a Baylor guy.
He was a Sam Darnold fan. He was
He's
a Baylor, and before
Matt
that,
Rule's
Temple.
Baylor?
He turned around Temple's program with. Then he turned around Baylor's.
Another reason why he got Robbie Anderson because he coached him at Temple.
Very good point.
Man. So at this point, I'd probably with what's left on the board, you have a quarterback, you have a corner, and you have wide receivers. Probably what I would consider for the Panthers at this point. You have Penei Sewell.
Went
Off
to the
the board.
Dolphins at 6.
I would say Rashawn Slater
Um,
might be an option, but
Yeah, that's what I was thinking with Slater.
Slater's still on the board.
but
A big reason why Sam Darnold didn't succeed at the Jets is because he had a shitty line this whole fucking time. So
Yeah,
you can
Mekhi
either
Becton last year didn't do fuck all.
just because you have
yeah,
one man
one
that counts
person.
as 2,
The
does that
whole-
mean five?
you have the guys on the ends. You don't have anybody in the middle.
So you had 2 constants and then
I
everybody
actually-
else
what do
was
you-
changing
so
it.
what's
McGovern also isn't there anymore. I recently just saw it. I was looking through some rosters. I saw McGovern even on the Jets. I don't think anymore.
Yeah, he is.
You sure?
Yeah, he's there.
Steve-
Unless this
Steve,
shit
we're gonna
happened,
make a house call. He'll be back.
I would no.
We got these. New
Unless
Jersey
something just
Italians.
happened like just now, but
Breaking news
Yeah.
on the Alpaca
McGovern's
Boys.
still on the team.
Okay.
That'll be going live from Adam's house.
Fuck,
when I
man.
bring that bookcase up.
Man.
I like the.
So where are we going? With the 8th pick
Give
in
him
the
a sec.
NFL
He did not expect the board to drop this way. Where you have
No,
you
I
are
mean-
the top 3 people on this board according to the Draft Network.
Listen, I had originally I was pretty hooked on J.C. Horn at this pick, but I don't know it at this point.
You didn't
I don't-
expect it to drop this way.
No, I didn't. I didn't.
I like the fact that you're audibling though, or at least considering the audible.
Just to comment on what Adam said about McGovern, McGovern signed a 3-year deal on March 17th to the Jets.
So he's a Jet.
And there must be some other guy that I was looking at that has a similar name.
Talking about Connor McGovern, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
He signed a
Mike,
3-year
I'm glad the
deal.
Jets fan. I'm glad the Jets fan was right about his team and I was wrong. Not often you catch me saying I'm glad I was wrong on camera, so I'm gonna delete
Yeah,
this.
it's probably for
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna lean on Matt Rule, sticking with his like the feelings that he's had all along. He's been a Sam Darnold guy. Sam Darnold failed because he really didn't have an offensive line, plus the fucking coach's bullshit. But
Yeah, I mean Adam Gase.
I
He's
think
already.
I think the Panthers go at best offensive lineman at this point on board, and I would pick Slater.
I love
That's,
that pick.
that's who I'm gonna go with.
If either
Do it 'cause
Slater
you know
or
we can't do
if
the
either
fucking
Slater or
house.
Sewell are there, then obviously we expect Slater to go after Sewell. But I agree. If like Slater goes, like for example, you mentioned going to the Lions at 7. If Slater goes to the Lions at 7, then I could see them going elsewhere. But if Slater drops to 8 and we're not trading out kind of thing, like nobody's trying to jump Denver for a quarterback, I love that pick because I feel like you franchise tag Taylor Morton, so you haven't shown me that you have a long-term commitment to him.
You haven't had a 23-year-old quarterback.
You traded for that
Protect the guy.
and a guy who you're gonna have to give the option to immediately, basically. So you have him for 2 years.
Teddy B still on the option?
No, Sam Darnold.
Oh, my bad.
And like, and they
Sorry.
have, and I forget the number of years, but I was watching it before, and apparently, you guys remember Jordan Gross, the left tackle for Carolina? We remember him because in Madden he was.
I don't remember.
I remember him from Madden because he was really good. But the point being is that they have not had a multiple year starter or a 3-year starter at left tackle, or they've had a certain number of left tackles since he retired that exceeds the number of years that have passed since that. So even if he can't play left tackle, hopefully he can
You got a
firming up that
solid
Starter
O-line.
on the O-line.
Like, you're right, protect Sam Darnold, because that's one of the many things that Jets into. But ultimately, you can have a few weapons, have good protection, and know if the quarterback is capable, right?
Yeah.
And I'm actually more.
Who's
I'm
up-
really asking the guy who's got the on-field experience. Who's played
He
football.
had no help up the middle of the line. Nothing. I mean, he was constantly fucking running this way. He couldn't sit back
Yeah,
in the
that's
pocket
true.
and just
But,
chill.
but I'm also thinking, I'm harking back, like, Steve played high school football also. And when you played, did you notice that there was a correlation between a team's ability to protect a quarterback and that team's success, even at a less than NFL
Not
level?
really in high school. I think if you jump to the next level,
Okay.
there's a bigger.
I wasn't sure
Was
where
the
the,
pass
I wasn't sure where
rushers
the
are
jump
much
went. I
better?
assumed it was
Yeah.
kind of just a constant theme.
Yeah.
So
You have so
nine?
much you gotta think
Who
I
has
have
nine?
mine with
Roberto
the
has
Broncos.
Oh, and
So with the ninth
So-
pick in the NFL draft,
let's see where he goes.
Shit.
Hey, I know where you should go.
The name that's on your phone is not available right now.
What do you mean?
He's saying like explain.
No,
to,
that's not the. Yeah, but that also says Falcons, Vita. You read the whole thing.
Yeah, what's the next
Look at this guy trying to read upside down.
I saw
Vita,
I saw
Vita's reading my phone in my face. If you
reflection
listen
of my
to
aviator.
you listen to who's the Broncos right there.
Oh.
That guy is still on the list.
But
that gentleman is still there.
But the
there are
problem
better
with
people than
Trey
him.
Lance, with Trey Lance falling to 9, that's who most likely the Broncos are going to pick at 9 is Trey Lance. Because if he's still there, you kind of have to pick him at
So I want you to lock it in like Regis Philbin.
yeah, so with the 9th pick, the Broncos pick Trey Lance.
Yes.
Nice.
At QB.
Good
I will
pick.
caveat, wait,
Good pick.
can I say if Trey Lance is not on the board, who I thought that they would pick at this position?
Yes.
No, because Trey Lance is still on the
No,
board.
no.
So if it does go differently, I think that they will pick a linebacker.
I don't want the fucking camera to die like.
I'm
it did
sorry,
the last
you
2
kept
weeks.
overriding me earlier in this draft, so I'm gonna take my time now because it is my pick. Ha!
This isn't Congress, my guy. You can't reach
Trey Lance. Okay.
I'm filibustering. Shut up.
Good for the Broncos.
Okay.
If it was a
Yeah, it's a
linebacker, you think it would be
phenomenal
Owusu
Corboa.
Corboa?
Yep.
Ah.
Good job. Love that kid.
Only because I do think Rashawn Slater, that Micah Parsons will be off the board at this point. So I think
Micah.
that problem. Micah. I keep saying Micah. Sorry.
That's like the people who
Yeah.
say Sam Darnold. Like, where does that come from?
Canada.
Like, why are you saying that?
Either
French Canadian.
either
Yeah.
Canada or Louisiana.
The LD is silent.
right?
Where does that come from?
It's the French.
All right. So who's
They
got
say
next?
they don't
All
say
right, so
LD.
this one's pretty easier for me. I was going to.
Boo!
Boo! Patrick Surtain.
Don't worry, they say that whenever I enter the room too. No, I was going to go Rashawn Slater if he slept here, to be honest, because I think that's a pipe dream. Obviously, the idea of them trading up for Kyle Pitts is just ridiculous. They need to go cornerback.
I agree.
They do.
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing.
They're gonna fuck it up.
No, he's gonna think maybe he'll think I fucking.
Giants fan.
The Cowboys recently brought in Dan Quinn, former Falcons head coach, and before that the Seahawks defensive coordinator, as their defensive coordinator, who likes a cover 3 zone coverage defense. Patrick Surtain has shown the ability to play both, but J.C. Horn has shown an exceptional ability at zone. That's what they ran in South Carolina, and that's what they run.
Does he play that Thad Castle zone?
You
You come in my zone, you get laid out.
He's not quite that knockout kind of thing.
Okay.
Now, that being said, I think that J.C. Horn fits that scheme better. I don't think that they will overlook that, and they're going to go with Patrick Surtain II, and that's who I'm going to go with. I just wanted to point out that J.C. Horn does excel in zone as opposed to man the way that
You know, he
Patrick
was only
Surtain
beat by
does.
Kyle Pitts out of all these wide receivers.
For like 60 yards, right? He never let anybody over 50. I think the only person he left over 50 was Kyle Pitts for 60.
Mm-hmm.
But that being said, I think that Dallas liking the big names. I think that I'm not going to say that Patrick Surtain can't play zone just because Alabama didn't put him there often. I think the skill translates. The pedigree is there with his father being an NFL player. I think it's an easy pick.
Great pick. So with the New York
Wow.
Wonder who he's going
With the 11th pick
in the NFL draft. Shut up. Shut up.
You asshole.
I booed you because you were the Cowboys.
You boo me, regardless of who I am. I am a person.
Allegedly.
If that's the case, you've been good friends with somebody who's only allegedly a friend.
He's a lizard man.
But so you're on the clock, man.
So with the 11th pick in the NFL draft, the New York Giants will select Devontae Smith, my bad.
Yeah, buddy.
Devontae Smith.
Wow.
And I thought I was going to pick the player that didn't exist in this draft.
The guy that
Devontae Freeman does exist.
He's
In this draft.
He's in this draft.
In this draft.
He exists. So the only other
He might
people,
be still eligible for the military draft.
the only people that I had on the board other than him for the Giants here, because I figured Slater would be gone, were Jalen Waddle, who's still there, or Michael Parsons.
So I know
And
that.
I think I'm higher on Devontae Smith than Jalen Waddle. I think the Giants are too.
Why?
The route running, the Heisman Trophy.
You know, he got weighed at 166.
6 pounds heavier than I thought he was gonna be.
I don't think that's.
I thought he was like 180.
Oh no,
I
thought he was
I
160.
don't think it's going to matter too much for him.
I hope
I
not,
think-
because that is. He's like 6'2", too, right? Something like that.
He's not small. He's just slight.
Woo,
Man,
So,
He's widery.
It scares me.
He's
Whitey.
widery.
He's Whitey.
And I
well
think
said. Well said.
Whitey.
I think he's a good weight for his
White.
body. Like if he was 220 on his frame, he wouldn't move the way he moves.
man, I don't
Right?
know.
Like, do I want a 6'2", 220 wideout? Yeah. Will I take a $180
Well,
Devontae
imagine
Smith
him-
who's gonna dust everybody on every route he runs?
Is he
Yeah,
though?
I'll take it.
Is he?
He shows a good ability to separate. He shows a good ability to chicken wing at like certain parts on like 9 routes to create a little bit of separation. So I'll give him that kind of thing. I'll be honest. I also like. I wanted to say Jalen Waddle, but at the same time, if we're talking about Devontae Smith is going to get hurt, Jalen Waddle did get hurt. Devontae Smith didn't.
Yeah.
So all of a
That's
sudden,
it.
and so
That's
like
it.
you can say like I'm strictly speaking from my perspective, I was gonna say I would take Waddle over Smith, but I can't call the injury as a reason why because Devontae Smith proved at the same level, at least that throughout his career that he was able to stay healthy, whereas the one other receiver that I would rebut with did not.
Always
So
It was
Yeah.
also when Christian McCaffrey came out, we talked a lot, and I was.
I don't know, that was that was people who didn't watch Stanford football because it comes on at like 11 o'clock at night.
Like my thing with Christian McCaffrey was like, well, he's a smaller guy,
But he ran between
and,
tackles.
and he can like
He ran
evade tackles.
at Stanford.
He can evade tackles. What's gonna happen when he gets hit head on?
He got hit
But
on
he-
though.
No, in the NFL he doesn't really get hit
Not in
head
the
on.
NFL, but
He's
in
still
college
like
he did.
lightning fast and evades it.
And I think the same thing's going to be true with Devontae Smith. Like, what happens if he gets hit head on? I think
That's
he's
tough,
gonna
dude, because you
somehow
have
evade it.
safeties that are fucking hunting you down.
Yeah,
It's
but you
also
can't do that
illegal.
anymore. You can't do that.
They will. They will.
I was about to say, just because you protect them, they'll take a 15-yard penalty to knock out your number one receiver.
It's not like a gun-free zone where criminals are bringing
Dude,
a gun in.
Those guys are out to kill.
You
That
had-
is-
Like
that is the mindset.
Cam Chancellor's not getting.
But you have
taken
Sean William
anymore.
Scott, you guys seen the Goon?
Sean
by
William
chance?
Scott.
You seen the movie
Oh,
Sean William Scott
I
with
have.
Sean Scott?
Yeah.
He's in
So I
hockey,
was
plays
like,
the Goon.
what do
You
you
guys
think
on that
about
with that? If you're gonna tell me that there's at least one player on every roster that has the green light to do that when told
Vontae's
to in every
perfect.
game,
Yeah.
Butts for giving himself the green light. He didn't need it from.
Well, he
coach,
told
he
his
said.
coach, he said, "I'm gonna hurt this guy." And the coach
And they
was
were
like, "As long
like,
as
"We
it's
got
not
it."
me, my dude. As long as it's not me."
Who's got the Eagles?
Born.
So this is gonna be a group one. I think
Whatever it
it's
is, they're gonna fuck it up.
So let's go. Let's go
Wow.
reverse order. Let's go reverse order. I made you
Okay.
guys go first on the last one. Let's reverse
No
this
problem.
time.
So where are you going?
So here's the thing. I think that the Eagles definitely need some wide receiver help.
Sort of thing.
You know, like Jalen Rager.
Here's my problem though. I don't like investing in the same position 2 years back to back because if you invest a first round pick in a year, first off, I'm not writing off Jalen Rager after 1 year. I do agree that he was overpicked over Justin Jefferson, and I thought that beforehand the same way a lot of people did, but that's besides the point. The point being is that they invested, again, from a business perspective, they invested a first-round pick, and first-round money, and first-round draft equity into a wide receiver before. Now, you can have multiple wide receivers, and you need them, and I get that.
But you don't need multiple first-round wide receivers.
And I also question the skill set difference between Waddle and Rieger. I think Waddle is a bit better of a prospect, but I don't think that they offer different things. It's like how Madden pisses me off when they say, "Oh no, your scheme needs that you need route running wide receivers." Like, no, I need a big guy, I need a slot guy, I need you need variety type of thing. So ultimately, that's a long way of me saying I think that they need a lot of help, and
That's not Jalen Waddle.
because J.C. Horn is there, I'm going to go J.C. Horn. I think
a
they
good
need some
pick.
secondary help. They need defensive help in general. I also think they need some offensive line youth infusion.
I agree with
But
that.
I did not expect J.C. Horn to be down there, and I think that bringing in J.C. Horn into
That may be a unanimous
along with
decision.
Darren Slay, or Darius Slay, I'm sorry, I think that solves your cornerback problem for at least the next 2 to 3 years. You don't even have to think about
I'm on
it.
board.
When
And
it comes to your primary guys.
Other
Slot
than
guys,
the
but primary
Cowboys?
guys.
Other than the Cowboys,
And J.C. Horn, I think you can play
there's not
slot.
really a wide receiver.
Like, there's not a team in division that the Eagles have to worry about as far as wide receiver goes, unless the Giants get Devontae Smith.
Well, even
But-
if they don't, the Giants still have Kenny Golladay now, and Sonny Shepard, and Darius Slayton, and Evan Ingram. That's pretty good.
Just mute it. Just mute it.
I was gonna take it.
No, mute it.
That's a pretty good wide receiver. Like, I think there's some wide receivers they got to cover. In general, you have to
I'd
have
take
more
it.
than
I'd
one
be
dang
guessed.
cornerback in the NFL in a passing league.
J.C. Horn,
But-
it is.
So, do we have any? If anybody opposes J.C. Horn, I want to
No,
hear.
honestly, like,
I think the J.C. Horn pick by the Eagles would be
Yeah.
unfortunately good.
yeah, like Steve said he liked that pick. I said I liked that. We all kind of. Steve was like, "Oh, it's gonna be
Can you
unanimous."
show me
We're all
the
kinda like, yeah.
edge receiver, edge defender?
Yeah, because now we're moving on to the Chargers here.
I mean, we're at pick 13. There's been nobody on the defensive line who's been taken yet, right?
It doesn't seem like this class is as highly touted as
No.
previously. Like, we've had like the
Right.
Ohio State guys. We've had both
Yeah.
Bosa brothers and Chase Young in basically
Yeah.
the last 3 years, it seems.
Miles Garrett.
Miles Garrett of A&M, yeah, like there's none of these guys are looking like. I think that
and we're
someone
at
had
pick
the
13,
chance, but
almost halfway through the first
Yeah.
round.
it's not often you
I
get this far without an edge.
I don't remember being this far in the draft.
Before the first edge
Yeah,
went.
before-
Yeah.
Or
before you get the
defensive
first-
lineman.
Yeah.
Because Chubbs went too. Bradley Chubb, he
went early. That's an edge rusher.
Yep.
Yeah,
So we got Jalen
Good call.
Phillips, Quiddy Pay, Aziz, Joe Tyron. This is all from draftnetwork.com. Who's our defensive tackles? There's not really many defensive tackles either.
yeah. Barmore, I know out of Alabama. You've got the kid out of Washington, Levi.
Christian Barmore
On
would probably be
Wuzurki.
the only one there, but
It's
I'm
rich for
still-
my blood at that.
I'm still. Can you go to tackles, please?
Yeah, absolutely. So looking at outside offensive linemen.
Darisaw, Jenkins, so if you're talking, what about interior?
Interiors.
So moving
I feel like a lot of these
Elijah
interior
Barrett
guys.
Tucker.
are
There's
gonna
one interior,
drop.
but there's one interior guy that I think might go higher than expected, and that's AVT.
Yeah, that's the pick I was getting ready to. I mean, I have AVT here written down on my paper too.
Nice.
So put it in, man. Turn the
yeah.
card in.
No.
AVT.
You got to ran.
Well,
down.
so here's the thing.
I just wanted to see, because you have edge defender,
so like looking like
corners here too. I'm still probably gonna go with, protecting the quarterback that you think now is proven to be your franchise guy. You got a lot of weapons. You have a plethora of wide receivers that are going to be there for a while who are really fucking talented.
Mhm.
I mean, at this point, and with where the NFL is going, it's just everybody's just scoring more points. Who can score more points to win? It's what it's seeing like. So I'm going to say,
especially in a division with the Chiefs
right. I'm
and
gonna-
the Raiders, who are building their team like the Chiefs or trying to.
AVT, I think I'm going to go with him.
Out of curiosity, why not Christian Darisaw?
I think that their tackles are less of a priority than their interior line.
Adam's dad texted me, so I had to text him back.
Okay.
Really?
No, don't get me wrong, because I thought Christian Darisaw or AVT, and I kind of flipped between the two as
Adam
well,
looked
and
at
so
me
I
for a
was kind of,
response, and I was texting.
I was interested as
Especially,
Oh,
he
it's
can
just
also
a
play
text
tackle
really.
too. I mean,
he played left tackle at USC. Like
Yeah,
they're talking
I
about
think he's
playing
more
guard
of a-
because he's a little arm deficient, I guess.
versatile type
arm
of.
deficient like Kyle Pugh.
Who's got the?
I have
Number
an
14,
idea.
we got we're going up to Rob, but I think that was a great pick because I think, like you said, he's versatile. He can play everything but center. At least he's shown that at USC.
As a
And,
Jet fan, that hurts me because I love to take him at 23, but I don't think he's.
No, but I agree.
And to block for Justin Herbert,
Right.
the guy
I know,
showed
they
the guy
need
showed
him.
what he could do last year. Give
With
him a
a-
little more time, give him a little better running game.
And like
Yeah.
you said,
It's a
he's
great
got the
pick.
and like you
Great
said, he's
pick,
got the
Steve.
receiving weapon. So
Yeah.
I think that's a great one too.
Yeah, he's got Mike Williams.
Honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if that ends up being my official mock draft next week, and he's going to be slotted there. So I love it.
So in this, I had written down two names for this pick. Both linebackers. I was either going with Kentucky's Jamin Davis or Tulsa's David Collins.
You're going running back?
Those are both linebackers.
Wow.
Linebackers, my bad.
Wow.
I
you go-
just
I think
Dude,
so,
don't
running
take a
back.
kicker here. That's fucked up.
Fuck you guys.
My
ears don't work well.
However, with Darasol still on the board,
my bad.
If older, trust me, I'm older than you.
If Christian Darasol is still on the board at this point, I would take him.
I'm flipping the between him and AVT. They're, in my opinion, going in these 2 picks. I don't know which team's taking which. I think that both these teams are taking both of those players.
Click it. Let's move on to the next one.
So,
seems like a great
Darisol's off the board.
I think it's a good pick. Solid left tackle. Like he could play right.
This is like worst case scenario for the.
So the Patriots, fuck them.
Well,
Who are they
hey,
taking?
Worst.
I get to
case.
choose for the Patriots. The Bills fan is picking for the Patriots.
It's not a good case for the Bills either.
No, it's not. But I'm going
It's like with what's left on the board right here.
Mac Jones still on the board is not a good. It's not good for the Jets or the.
And
Bills.
if there's a coach who's going to get the most out of it,
right. You know, if Mac Jones go to the Patriots, it's going to be like. Just look at these names: Mac Jones, Tom Brady. How basic do you need it to be?
Mac Jones is
Tom Brady never got a
better
DUI
than Tom
as far as
Brady
I
as
know.
a name goes. As far as names go, Mac Jones is
leagues better than Tom Brady.
Wow,
Tom Brady's some jerk off who's drinking at like a pub in South Boston.
Holy shit.
Mac Jones is the dude as far as names go. Only as far as
names go, it's DeBrickashaw Ferguson. When you have a name
yeah,
Joe
DeBrickashaw Ferguson.
which in some languages might
Black
be
Irish.
the Brickashaw, or of the Brickashaw, which is
For a guy who stands there like a brick wall. Good job, Papa Ferguson.
Alright, so here's the thing. This is actually, if the board were to fall this way, I actually think this is the way the Patriots are gonna go. And this is gonna be a little bit of a loop, but I'm gonna put myself in Bill Belichick's shoes. It's gonna be Zayvon Collins.
He's right.
It's gonna be Zayvon Collins because Zayvon Collins is versatile as a motherfucker.
Would you say he's Devontae 2.0? Devontae Hightower 2.0?
Dante Hightower.
Dante?
Yes,
Fuck.
I actually.
This alcohol's fucking all my names up.
I'm glad you brought that up though, because I do very much so believe that he's got the coverage and blitzing capabilities the way that Hightower brought out of Alabama.
Alright, put it in.
He wants his versatile guys, and I don't think that if we're not doing trade ups where maybe he's a target for like 8, where we were talking about for Carolina, but we're not talking about that. I think if Belichick stays to his defensive roots. He built up that offense to basically cam-proof it with those 2 tight ends to kind of make it easy. We got Nelson Aguilar to be a deep ball threat. While he's not the best, he showed some chemistry with Derek Carr, and he did that in 1 year. So he shows the ability to do it.
When Cam was great, they broke the field down into quadrants. And it was like, okay, throw this ball to the top left quadrant. Throw this ball to the middle quadrant. So now they have 2 of the best guys, if you're going to line up at an ace. They have Nelson Aguilar, who's a pretty decent deep guy.
And there's another wide receiver they brought in too. I'm blanking on it. They brought in another wide receiver into the.
But I think they're going to go back to cutting the field down for Cam, make it a little easier for Superman to read. Okay, here's your 2 reads. If they're not there,
Dude, I would much
middle,
rather
tuck
that
your head.
pick than Mac Jones. I'm going to tell you that right now.
Alright, B.
I would much rather them take Mac Jones because if they take Mac Jones, Josh Allen is better than Mac Jones. Period. End of story. Zach Wilson is better. That is arguably.
You say that now.
Tua may not be.
So
Tua may not be. I'll
got the
actually say they might
Cardinals.
get the better one. Over Yep, we got the Cardinals.
And we're doing this as if it's a real draft.
and there haven't been too many loops thrown yet. Here's a little loop for you.
There's a lot of loops that Arizona could. Cliff Kingsbury after that Cribs, like MTV Cribs
with
thing that
this-
he gave us in the draft last year.
With the 16th pick,
In the Alpaca Boys NFL draft,
Boo.
the Arizona Cardinals
This guy wants an introduction.
select Caleb Farley.
Wow.
cornerback out of Virginia Tech.
Reach.
Let's hear it.
So
Let's hear the defense of the pick first before we start hearing the action.
Caleb Farley,
Is the best corner in the draft.
whether he's the healthiest corner, yes. When he's healthy, he's the best. He's having back surgery, they're going to do that.
2 back surgeries.
However many back surgeries.
That's
It's just his back. Don't worry about it.
So
There's no bacchiotomies like
The
Dave
Cardinals
Chappelle
take
had.
chances on secondary players too.
this is just like the
They
team
did with like
history.
they did with Kim Diche.
Kim Deach, not secondary, but defensive guy.
Oh, I thought you meant...
jumped out of the
they did-
second-story window because he's a fucking beast.
I thought you meant secondary, like they gave him a second chance. I didn't realize you meant secondary is in the position. My bad.
Well, Honey Badger, they gave a second chance too.
Yep.
So I think Caleb Farley coming off of surgery, being the caliber of player that he is, they need the help there. Patrick Peterson is not getting younger.
He's in Minnesota.
It's not.
Well, even worse. That's worse than not getting younger, is going to Minnesota.
I'm trying to think. They brought in
They're going to put his body on ice
They brought in
and
some...
hope that he stays young.
Yeah, I'll look it up. I'll look it up over the break. They brought in somebody...
But I think they're going to go Caleb Farley. You get Watt wearing my great uncle's number, rushing in. I think Caleb Farley, he's going to start week 1.
It's
I think
definitely a
he's gonna
shake.
hit the
That's
ground
definitely
running.
something that could happen.
The only
the
reason-
draft is going to shake up in some kind of way.
He's the only person I have written down.
The only reason
As
I also...
far as who I think the Cardinals are going to take at 16, I did at least 3
Alright.
for every.
He
other
also wrote them
position.
freehand with a stylus, so it's jagged. The only thing that I will...
I have nice handwriting.
The only reason that I was a little shocked, because don't get me wrong, outside of this one play, if this one player was gone, then yeah, absolutely. Jalen Waddle just seems like that guy that Cliff Kingsbury has wet dreams about. Like, you have him, you have Christian Kirk, you've still got Larry Fitz for at least for this
I
year.
didn't want to
I
fall
think
victim
Fitz.
to the trap
You
of
brought in
only
AJ
drafting
Green, you brought in-
offensive players.
I understand that. I'm putting myself in Cliff Kingsbury's shoes, who failed as a head coach with an offensive mind in college, but still somehow got an NFL job. So obviously he's got to be thinking whatever he's doing is right.
Well, they have Christian Kirk, and they have
Who
another.
I think is very
AJ
good.
Green, who they signed to a one-year deal.
Another
DeAndre Hopkins.
smaller guy.
Andy Isabella.
Is a
Yeah, he's very young.
I got him in Dynasty.
So you take Jalen Waddle. Jalen Waddle is that type of wide.
But Andy Isabella was a second-round pick. You're not as invested
Yeah,
in
he's
that
not like
type
that
of
guy.
idea. Don't get me wrong. I
Have
think
they
that
been
Caleb
using him,
Farley
though?
is the better pick. I think he was the better pick, and if I were the GM with the board falling this way, I would take Caleb Farley. I'm not disagreeing with him. I'm simply saying that I'm not convinced that Cliff Kingsbury doesn't have his head so far up his ass that
He's
he
not Adam
believes.
Gase, so I gave him a little bit of credit for that.
The only reason he's not Adam Gase is because he hasn't coached the Jets yet.
He also got the dude he was scouting since high school to be his quarterback.
do?
The dude
Dude
who.
who?
The dude
I just want to make sure you emphasize that.
No, I do that shit all the time. People say do way more often than they think.
Yes.
Oh, I do that. Oh, so you fucking just said do. People do it every day. And now that I pointed
Do you
it
call
out,
him out?
Yo,
I do all the time.
He calls
I
me
say-
out every time I do it.
I say that shit if I'm at
Every time I
work
do it.
and one of my guests says it. I'll be putting their credit card in. I'll be like, man, $3,000 worth of furniture. You just fucking said doo.
It's fun.
like I call people
All
out on
right,
that.
so we're at pick 16. We're halfway through.
We're halfway through. Let's take a quick bio break.
Yep.
And we'll jump back into the bottom. I'm pretty sure the second half will probably go faster because I feel like at this point
We're doing a
Let's
bio
go.
break and coming back
Yeah.
for number 2.
Sure.
Did I say are those the exact words I used? We'll do film check and see if that's the case. He caught me again. But we'll
Halftime,
take a quick
baby.
break here.
Hello.
What the fuck we talking about?
I like it.
All right, so
We're back. Oh, you do it.
No, I don't want to take this is your.
So we're back. We did the first half of the NFL draft. We got like 30% battery left on the camera because we're fucking degenerates and drank and talked over each other. I talked over you guys. Sorry about that. I'm a degenerate.
Yeah, we both did.
He's a degenerate. I just happen to be his friend. So we got the second half of the draft. We're gonna go as fast as we can
Right.
and still justify our picks and give quality content. We're not trying to rush through anything. We're still beginning. We have one camera.
Right.
We want to make sure we catch everything.
They can tell we're still beginning.
noobs, but it's all right.
I sure hope they can tell that.
With the 17th pick in the NFL draft,
We got a community pick here, so start with
the
Steve.
Las
really quickly.
Vegas Raiders.
The Raiders. All right, what's it showing?
The Raiders.
The Raiders-
Tackle, defensive line, linebacker, safety. All right, so you're saying either defensive line or
John Gruden and Mike
offensive
Mayock.
line or a defensive player. Essentially.
Don't think about it like a normal person. Think about it. Who's
Like
John
John
Gruden
Gruden.
and Mike Mayock gonna do?
John Gruden
No,
gonna go
we're
with the best player
the fucking
now.
GMs here, so I'm gonna be the fucking GM.
Okay.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Channel that Gruden.
Yes.
I want to. Can you show me what tackles are left on the
Yeah,
board?
so if
right
we're
now?
looking, if we're gonna go outside, if we're going outside,
offensive or
Evan
defensive?
Jenkins, Alex Weatherwood, or Sam Cosmi. It's
Cosme, I think, is a little underrated on this
The
board.
top tackle I got, that I would say is Tevin Jenkins. So Let's see who else. Barmore's still on the board, so I consider him. Who's the edge? Linebacker. Oh, JOK.
Yeah, JOK is still there.
JOK from Notre Dame.
Okay. What else? Edge. We still got Jalen Phillips too.
You got all of them basically.
Dude. All right. If I were the Raiders, if I'm assuming who the Raiders would pick, which is not going to be my pick, it'd probably be Jalen Phillips.
This player might not even be here when the real life comes. So let's.
But I think
I would second Jalen Phillips.
Realistically, if we're talking on draft night, if Jalen Phillips is there, I think they would take him. But if I'm the GM, I am not taking him here.
Here's my deal, and the reason I'm not trying to convince you otherwise. I'm not trying to take too much airtime here, but. They did draft Cleveland Farrell with the first pick of Mike Mayock's regime, who plays DN. They just signed Ngakoue to big money, and there's another DN that
Ngakoue's situational though. Like I really like
Ngakoue
him.
can play the run. He's small, but he can play the run.
No, I wish that he was a 4-down guy.
He is. He's a Jerry Hughes type. He is a younger Jerry Hughes in my mind. We can disagree on that. It's fine. I would
see him as a
Jock
linebacker
here.
or as a D-end?
He's a DN. He's
Okay.
a 4-3 DN. Put my hand in the dirt. He can defend the run too. I think that he's undersized, but he can defend the run the same way that Jerry Hughes is able to just play his leverage and set the edge the way he can too.
Okay.
I would go Jock here. I would go Jeremiah Rusakoramora from out of Notre Dame. Personally, he just screams He screams Mayock and Gruden to me. They need help at that second level, but I'm outruled 3-1, and so.
Wait a minute! I never gave you my fucking pick.
Oh my
Well,
bad.
what's your fucking pick?
I thought you
Shit.
had a job. They all agreed with Jalen Phillips right away. So.
I said Jalen Phillips if I'm not the GM, but we are the GMs in this fucking alpaca jersey.
Yeah,
right?
Fuck Gruden. Well, I can't
Well,
say that.
I'm-
Rob, say it.
Mayock's the
Say it for me.
What?
Mayock's the
Fuck
GM
Gruden.
anyway, so you don't
I
have
was
to.
going to say fuck Gruden.
John Gruden, I love you. Rob said that.
If I'm the
He
GM,
fucking loves you,
if I'm the
man.
GM, I'm
You're a
taking
fucking grinder, man.
Yeah, the beating grinder of the day is
I'm
John
taking
Gruden.
Tevin Jenkins if I'm the GM.
Okay.
Tevin Jenkins.
He's going O-line. He's going Tevin Jenkins. Rob first, actually. We're going this way.
I'll be with the edge. I like Steve's original. I like Jalen Phillips. Sorry.
Yeah, no, Jalen Phillips, good pick. That's a good.
I would go Jalen Phillips to get him off the board for the rest of the people I want.
Which is something that they would do.
And like it's
That's
the
just-
Raiders,
Yeah.
so like
So
Hey, who are you
Phillips,
thinking?
Phillips is the consensus. You said Phillips too.
Well,
right?
I said Jeremiah
Oh, that's
Russo-Moore.
right.
I think that's where
JOK.
they would go. I think that's how they would go. At the same time, though,
So
we got
it's 2-2.
one,
Flip
one,
a
and
coin.
we got 2-1-1.
Flip a coin.
No, he went Tevin Jenkins.
You guys get the pick.
He went Tevin Jenkins, so it was 2-1-1.
Jalen
And then-
Phillips.
So Jalen Phillips,
Phillips
the
is the
first edge rusher, finally off the board,
Yep.
is going to the
With
Raiders
the
at
17th
17.
pick in the NFL draft, the
Miami.
Las Vegas
Okay,
Raiders
so
select Jalen
Who
Phillips.
did Miami take in the beginning? Can you refresh my memory?
Miami took
Sewell.
Sewell
I
because
took Sewell because Jamar Chase dropped and Kyle
Alright,
Pitts was not
alright.
on the board.
Now, we're banking on Tua.
So we
We
got
got the tackle. You know, I'm at this pick. I'm going either a wide receiver or a running back. Who are my wide receivers there, Adam? Who's on the board? For
So
me?
we still got Waddle.
Jalen Waddle's
obviously.
there.
We got
Bateman's there.
Waddle,
Elijah
Bateman,
Moore
Elijah
is
Moore.
there.
All right, so
I know you're big on Elijah Moore too.
I do like Elijah Moore.
Yeah,
but
you are pretty high. You are higher on Elijah
So,
Moore than any of us here.
Mhm.
So Elijah Moore was behind DK and AJ Brown.
So it's not like he was behind chumps. He was behind guys who have produced
Right.
in the NFL.
Has he been there that long? Because they've been in the NFL now
Yeah,
for
he
2
was there.
years. So,
He was there.
okay, he's been there for at least 2 years.
Yep.
Okay.
Really top tier guys that I have is the same that we all. It's kind of consensus between the five of us. Jalen Waddle, Terrence Marshall, and Rashad Bateman. You got those three. You got Najee Harris and Travis Etienne. I think it's too early for those
Who's
guys.
running the ball down in Miami
I
right
think it's-
now?
They have Myles Gaskin, who did serviceably when he was injured, but they also and they have a couple guys. Didn't they pick up
I
somebody?
think
Gaskin is like-
Gaskins. I think he's gonna
Miles
have better. He's gonna have a better
I'm
year.
seeing him. I'm
what's
seeing
his
him
name?
like shoot up these fucking dynasty
Mock
It's
draft
Bishop
boards.
Sankey 2.0. It's Bishop Sankey 2.0 because he had a good year. He put up I actually had him in a couple of leagues that he won me many weeks I should not have won. Simply by workload.
DraftKings.
Like 20 carries for like 95 yards and a touchdown, which
I think
is
he
like,
won me a week or two in DraftKings because he was like $3,200.
but
So it's like, okay, well, I
The
actually
only
spent
edge
my money
defender
on
here
other people.
that I would take is probably Quiddy Pay. Who do we have?
who is
on?
versatile?
I like that
Who
pick.
is versatile? Which Brian Flores coming from the
Yeah, the
From the New
positionless
England-
I
defender.
think he's still got a lot to prove too.
But what other positions? We're looking at wide receiver, we're looking at edge, we're looking at running back. Really is.
I hope my guy's still there.
I don't know if I would take linebacker here. Like what linebacker? Oh, still have JOK and
Jock is still here, which that's actually a decent. Like I do not want to see that because I feel like with a good mind, Jock is going to kill.
You don't
it.
want to see it because you're in division, though, right?
Yes.
Not because it would be a bad pick.
Oh no, absolutely.
Listen, I think with the Bills in division, they're going to want to get as much firepower as they can. They got to go with wide receiver, and I think they go with Jalen Waddle here.
Right. I mean, still available at 18.
Yeah.
Rob, what do you think?
What?
Get out of here, Born.
At 18 or?
Yeah.
How
do you like the
Well,
Jalen
18's
Waddle
his pick, but yeah,
I
what's yours?
agree with Jalen Waddle about that.
I like the Jalen Waddle pick also. I took the earlier Dolphins pick to protect Tua. I think you give him a weapon the caliber of Jalen Waddle.
Just so we're clear, as a Bills fan, I'm irate with this because if they walk away with Penei Sewell and Jalen Waddle in the first round,
Insane.
Yeah, that's an A plus. That's an A plus draft grade right there. As far as day one goes.
John Gruden, or not John Gruden, what's his name?
What's his name? Fuck him, the Dolphins guy.
That's the coach. Who's the GM?
No.
Rob, who's the GM of the Dolphins?
Greer.
Whatever. Who's going for the football team? Fuck them.
What fucking team?
Exactly.
The Washington.
Yeah, what fucking team?
Yeah, WFT. What
Yeah,
fucking team?
Yeah, that is worse.
I like it.
But yeah, so Washington's on the board. Washington's here. Obviously, you know, they're rocking.
Whose pick is it?
Mine.
It's Rob's.
Oh, okay.
They're rocking. So let's see where he goes here, because the board is
Wow.
it's interesting.
Okay.
This
I'm
guy-
going JFK here.
Okay.
Yeah.
I actually really like it.
I like JFK.
But I gotta ask you. Tell the people why, with Matt Jones still on the board, you're still willing to go
why
with
is he
Jock
not the
over Matt
guy?
Jones.
I just think that they need more help on defense. They need more help in the linebacking core. And I honestly think that that's a more pressing need for them this year.
That Fitzmagic is gonna win the NFC East.
Coming from the Giants,
He
man, I can
probably
tell you
will.
everything you need to know.
He probably will.
It's so bad, but that's what's gonna happen, and I completely agree with Rob.
Dude, 10 years from now, Ryan Fitzpatrick may be my favorite player.
10 years from
Yeah,
now, Ryan
yeah,
Fitzpatrick
will still be in the NFL. He'll still be starting. He's gonna be the Patriots starting quarterback 10 years from now. They're gonna be his 32nd team.
and he's going to be voted into the
Tom
Hall of
Brady
Fame
is
while
still
he's still
playing.
playing.
I was just about to
say
get voted for his contributions
Get out
to
of
the
my head.
game, and his contributions are going to be that beard
Yeah,
and that interview that he did
Yeah.
with Deshaun Jackson's
Yeah.
clothes.
Just to be clear, I actually really like it also because I understand they're quarterback hungry and whatnot. But you know me, I'm down on Mac Jones. Maybe that Ollie Crow when he
I just don't
maybe
think he's
blows
the
up.
answer for Washington. And with JOK still being on the board here and them needing linebacker help, I feel like this is where they would go.
Yeah, I think it's a great pick.
Okay.
So who's up for the
That
best?
brings me up for Chicago.
Wow.
All right.
Now here's the tricky thing.
So who did you have before this draft started?
I
who
had
you
Mac
in mind?
Jones.
Wow.
I legit
And he's
looking.
still there.
I'm gonna look right here at Chicago. At QB was the number one thing, and I did not think that Mac Jones was gonna be down to me. Now here's the thing. I'm gonna go through this really quickly. It's not necessarily guaranteed that the GM and the head coach are gonna have their job next year.
True.
So they have two choices. They either draft an immediate difference maker that shows, hey, we should get another year to try to find our guy at quarterback kind of thing. Like, well, for example,
Najee Harris.
I was thinking like Kwity Paye or Azeez Ojulari. I was thinking that edge guy who you bookend with Khalil Mack, like you did with Leonard Floyd after you drafted him, and you let them kind of do their thing. And if you can get that pass rush duo that looks elite, it's great. And now you can say, okay, we can build. You can at least try to convince the owner, hey, we can build from that. We can keep our jobs. That being said, there's also the option of saying, if they go into the conversation saying, hey, if we can come out with one of these with this quarterback, we can get the understanding of we can get a couple more, we can get at least another year to show, hey, we drafted a rookie quarterback, we're bringing him in, kind of thing. I think that if somehow Mac Jones drops there, Chicago has shown that they will just make a poor decision. And I think that they will make the decision of drafting Mac Jones and then getting fired.
Mac Jones.
I can completely see that.
Good point, dude.
And
if Mac Jones is there,
they will take him. They will go 8. They will go
there.
8-9 or 9-8, whatever the new 500 that is now with the 17 game schedule.
Yeah.
Just get to 18, so this
45%. They're
Just
gonna
make it
go
18 at this
45.
point. We knew when they went to 17, it's going to 18. It's inevitable. We're not breaking news here. It's going to happen.
It is inevitable.
Mac Jones.
But if Mac Jones is there, they'll make the poor decision saying, "Hey,
But
that
that
quarterback."
snap was good.
They'll leave
That was a shitty snap.
He's got the Colts.
I've got the Colts, and they're going Azeez Ojulari.
Wow.
And the reason they're going Ojulari is because
They need an edge defender, and their GM has shown that he does not give a shit about size on defense. He wants players who can play well. He drafted
He's very speed.
He drafted Darius Leonard early in the second round, who was a smaller guy for the position, and came out and won Defensive Rookie of the Year, and was a top 3 linebacker in the league as a rookie. So he doesn't give a shit about size. So with his pick, why should I give a shit about size? I'm going to take a 6'2 edge defender in Azeez Ojulari, who has great tape, who does everything you ask him to do. I think that's where they're going to go. It's either that or O-line, and they have Quentin Nelson, who's worth about 3 people. So I see them going with the opposite 7.
So then
Fair enough.
Titans, this would be Bourne's pick, correct?
Yes.
Alright, so this collective.
So here's what I'm thinking. I think it's my turn to go first on the collective ones. I'm gonna admit that I am not a big fan of Tevin Jenkins, and I'm also not a big fan of Christian Barmore. I think that this stance, those are the top 2 guys on their draft board. They drafted Isaiah Wilson last year, who obviously flamed out. He didn't get his shit together in the NFL. He got traded for like a conditional 7th round pick to Miami and didn't even make the team after like a week because he just didn't show up for anything. He showed to be somebody who was just not ready or willing to take on the responsibilities of being an NFL player. Christian Barmore being a redshirt sophomore, I do like the youth part. Like, you all know I'm a sucker, like, especially the guys who play, Madden with me and know that like, when you draft a franchise, you want youth. Christian Barmore definitely tracks that. He just hasn't shown enough for me because I feel like Alabama rotates their D linemen out. And guys like Quinion Williams and Jonathan Allen popped when I watched them on film. He hasn't, to me, and when I say film, I mean watching games. Like, I don't go back and watch film. I mean, in the game, he's not popping. So, I don't love either of them, but I think at this juncture, they go with Tevin Jenkins and make an attempt to kind of continue to solidify that O-line the way they tried to with their first-round pick last year. What do you think, Peter?
I'm actually text messaging your father right now.
Yeah, I've been here. Listen to it. He's picking up a bookcase, bringing it up to me. So we'll skip over him and we won't assume he agrees with me, but we most likely will. Rob.
I actually do agree with your pick on this particular one.
Okay. I don't love the fact that he can't really handle those speed guys, but I think at some point you're going to get warts with everybody when you get to this part.
Well, yeah, because remember now that we're in the second half of the first round, it's kind of whatever.
I don't think so. I think with the loss of Corey Davis, I think they try to fill that void. I think they go Rashad Bateman here.
Don't get me wrong, I think that's a great pick because I love Rashad Bateman.
Mm-hmm. I think that's where they go.
You think they go with that with the first round pick? With a run first offense, you think they go with the second wide receiver?
I think they do. I think a big reason why A.J. Brown had the success that he had was because of the threat that they had in Corey Davis. Even though he didn't really produce, he had a better year last year. But that's what made them have that option. I think they go. I think they fill the void first before anything else.
I got you. I think it's a good idea because at the end of the day, you need more than one wide receiver. And they also not just lost Corey Davis to the Jets; they lost Jonnu Smith to the Patriots.
Right.
So that's another receiving threat.
True, I didn't think of that. Yeah.
So going receiver actually. It's one of those where I don't associate receiver with Tennessee being a run-first offense type of idea, but you're right. You need more than one receiving threat to make that work. So you know what? Actually, I'm changing my answer. I'm gonna agree with Steve. He sold me on it. I'm gonna go with Rashad Bateman on this because I like him as a prospect. I didn't like him as a fit, maybe because I was just so fixated on that Isaiah Wilson failed experiment from last year. Mm-hmm. But I'm gonna change my answer to Rashad Bateman. I'm gonna agree with Steve on this one.
So that's 2.
See, I would go either Bateman or Newsome here, because if they could stop the pass a little more.
And they lost Dory to you.
And they don't.
That's right.
They don't have
Shit,
problems.
they lost a lot, didn't they?
They don't have problems during the regular season. Their issues come late in the postseason when Derrick Henry running for 200 yards and like stiff arming 11 dudes on your defense doesn't matter as much. What matters is being able to chunk off 40 yards. So I think Rashad Bateman would be great to help them do that. I also think Greg Newsome would be a great pick for them to fill the Adore hole, and because it would be a big help to not let the other guy chunk off 40 yards at the end of a playoff game.
Did you say a glory hole?
No, I heard Adore.
No.
I did not say
All right, so
that.
Rashad Bateman.
Yeah,
Who's your pick?
I do want to point
I'm going either Bateman or Newsome.
You gotta pick one.
But,
the one thing I will say about cornerback is while I agree with you, they need cornerback help. They did sign Jack Rabbit to a relatively deal. And they drafted Christian Fulton, the cornerback out of LSU in the second round last year, just showing a level of investment. Again, taking it back to a business
So let's go Rashad Bateman.
Yeah.
Bateman's Bourne's pick.
Well, even if you went...
Bateman is born. Did you text him? You heard in from him?
No, he'll
I talked to him
watch
actually
the video.
right before we started this chatting.
And that was all he said.
Unless
All Bourne said was with the Titans, take Rashad Bateman.
So we're going Rashad Bateman to Tennessee at 22.
oh, the Jets!
The Jets,
Finally,
baby.
we're back to a
The
New
Jets.
York
The
pick.
Jets,
And this
Joe
was your-
Douglas, me. You have to protect this fucking
you.
kid. Zach
Good for
Wilson, Justin Fields, whoever it is. We cannot do what we did to Sam Darnold to the new quarterback. Okay. So you have interior defensive line. Who's there? You have Creed Humphrey, right?
Offensive line, right?
Landon. Ugh. The top guy on this board is the top guy that I'm taking. I know he's a very
Landon Dickerson?
Landon
Really?
Dickerson. Yes, a 6'6" center guard.
That injury history
who's
doesn't scare
got-
you?
Who's got an injury history? Yes, I know. He's all 4 years. He's had some type of injury. The fucking guy, if he pans out, I am okay with taking the risk of the injury history for the upside of Landon Dickerson. A lot of fucking Jets fans are going to be fucking kicking me right now. They're going to say, take Creed Humphrey. Yes, I like Creed Humphrey. I think he's going to be a solid player. But
You also like
I
McGovern move into guard, so why wouldn't you take a
I
true
do.
center?
They can both play
Landon
center.
Dickerson can play center.
Yeah, but Creed Humphrey's a true center.
So is he.
Landon Dickerson has played all 5 positions between Florida State and Alabama.
played
and
most-
when you play, those
he's
are the
played
two
most
games
at center.
That's pretty impressive.
He's played most at center. But the upside of him moving people like he does when he is healthy
Yes.
is insane.
He has a respect from Nick Saban that is noteworthy. Because if Nick Saban,
Yeah, if Nick Saban's like, this dude moves
he's had
people.
nothing but success at Alabama, obviously.
Yeah.
And so when he gets somebody,
Nick Saban,
Trash Jets coach.
college
Pete
football
Carroll.
Hall of Fame.
I mean,
College Football Hall
on
of Fame.
draft day, if you were going to ask me who the pick is going to be, it'd probably be Creed Humphrey. I think it'd be a little safer. But for me, I would like taking the risk. With the higher upside, I'll take Dickerson.
do you think you're reaching just because they're interior offensive linemen?
I think they will. Knowing Joe Douglas, and he is an interior lineman, and that's all he cares
But
about
with
at this
Te-
point.
And
So,
with
but-
having
But Tevin Jenkins is there. Oh, sorry.
With having Mekhi Becton.
that covers for a little bit of the guard you have play next to Mekhi Becton. Because he's so good. He's not going to get off the line and not chip the dude.
And it works that way for both
So it's
sides.
going to be like, okay, guard, Steve, help block Rob. And then Mekhi Becton comes over here and blocks Adam.
Mekhi
Because
Becton's a
everybody
beast.
looks little when Mekhi Becton's blocking them.
Everybody looks
Well,
little.
you're
You're
gonna
gonna
have
ask
these
me
little
why
guys.
not take
Well,
Tevin
Mekhi
Jenkins,
Becton.
right?
Like, you could be 6'2" if Mekhi Becton's blocking you
You're
down,
asking
you
me why
look
not
little.
Tevin Jenkins? Because I think if you take a center position at that, you're knocking out 2
I'm
positions.
proud
at
he
once.
does. That's good.
That's the only reason.
I got you. Not good. It's just one of those, like, I like Landon Dickinson. There's just obviously the injury red flags that scare the shit
There's a
out
lot
of
of
me.
red flags.
So who's going at 24?
But 24 from Pittsburgh, I believe, is Rob.
That is my pick.
So where's Pittsburgh going?
Boo.
Pittsburgh's got a lot of holes to fill because they got old very quickly.
Hey, be careful with that phrasing with Roethlisberger still there.
They got old very quickly.
Allegedly.
So this is what's best left, correct?
This is all, yes.
Interesting.
Nope, sorry. Now that's what's best. Now, they've got a lot of holes to
This
fill.
is the predictive board.
Who did you have the Steelers taking before we did this?
Before we did this, I had them taking James Hudson, tackle/guard.
There's always that
Do it.
surprise. Yeah, there's always
But
that surprise.
Do
element,
it.
and
It's
I
Rob's
think that-
pick. That's what we had
but
to
with
take.
Tevin Jenkins still the board. Like I feel like that's the.
That's a good point. I'm just kind of curious about.
Who'd you have them taking? Not Cosme?
No, I had them James Hudson. That's at least based on like a lot of the projected drafts and everything like that. That's around.
Is it interior?
Go to all and search.
No, but that's a good point. But Tevin Jenkins still being there, that's not something that you can guarantee when you're trying to mock for 24.
Yeah, so like.
Oh, the kid of Cincinnati. I don't know if you guys got a chance to watch Cincinnati at all this year. That was a fun team to watch.
So I like Cincinnati because McAfee likes them.
And
they're the same symbol as Clemson. You know?
They do, and I love their safety duo of Wiggins and oh my god, I'm blanking on the guy's name that I love. Oh my god, which obviously means that I don't love him, so I can't be a poser. But no, they ran this like 3-3-5 hybrid defense, and I don't know. I like it in college when you do something different. It's like put your mark on it, and it also shows that you're coming into the pros with a skill set. Like you better be able to do the basics of being able to like on defense at cornerback or linebacker, be able to do the basics kind of thing. But when you do something unique that is only for like not every college runs a 3-3-5. So if you can run a 3-3-5, there are certain elements to your ability to play a position that other people can't.
3-3-5.
They were in a very minor conference, not in the Power 5, and were top 10 ranked for the entire season, basically.
So how do you feel about this cat, Hudson?
So
this is Rob's pick, man.
I think Rodson. Well, he was mentioning before
Yeah.
He asked who he had him written down for.
Yeah, so
he
like
was not assuming Tevin Jenkins was going to be on the board.
Right, exactly. So like at this point, I would take Tevin Jenkins.
Okay.
Because he's still there. Like.
I mean, I think that's a steal.
Yeah. At 24. Yeah.
I think that's I think that's where he should go. To be perfectly honest, like don't get me wrong. I think Tevin Jenkins is a
good
mauler,
pick, man. Same
and
position, just a better player you were anticipating.
No, but I think that's a great pick also for the sense that it's a great Steelers pick. The Steelers, the reason, like you could say, oh, they had no run game. The reason they had no run game is not because of running backs, because they opened up no holes.
Right.
Like that old line was garbage, and they were injured the entire time. Mm-hmm. Tevin Jenkins, while he has some issues with the speed guys on the edge, there's no question
he's going to move that nose tackle out of the way.
He's going to open up a hole.
Right, even if he's too big, I think, to bump inside. But no matter what, he is moving the guy in front of him.
How
backwards.
big is too big to bump inside? Because I personally, as a GM,
it depends on your quarterback height.
I would rock 2 360 guards.
Oh, you're talking about height or weight?
Well, it's all based on
weight.
So I'm talking about height. Tevin Jenkins is like 6'7".
I'll put a 360 man.
You can't have
in that guard.
But you can't have a 6'7" center, for example.
Why? I just run the ball.
Yeah, Pittsburgh didn't do that last year. At all.
Who's got the 25?
Listen, you have a 6'7" center, and you have Saquon Barkley. You just run ISO.
Yeah, so we're moving...
Just run ISO.
No, but Saquon likes to bounce everything to the outside.
Well, if you have Mekhi Becton playing center, plans change, my guy.
Yeah, you're making a horrible decision at left tackle if he's playing center for you.
I'm saying build-wise. Build-wise. You got a 6'7", 380 playing center.
You can't see over him.
Yeah, so you run behind him.
You can't just run in a passing offense, in a passing league. All right, we're losing battery power. I'm not wasting the time on this. We're going on to Jacksonville. And Jacksonville is in a unique position because I think that Jacksonville ultimately can go in a bunch of places. I think they obviously could use Barmore because they can definitely help a little on the inside. But I think House from Ohio State showed well enough to be able to kind of lock that down. I think that they need a little bit of help.
First overall pick, Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, so you got your quarterback. You can go on the defensive side. I think the thing if I'm thinking about like Urban Meyer, I'm thinking that I need to have the best talent available. Because I guess I got it.
Yeah, so I was going to hold it for you while you pick.
Oh, I got 2 hands for a reason. God gave me 2 goddamn hands for a reason, like Orlando Jones said in Evolution.
To the women's
volleyball team, but I took a lesson from that.
2 hands.
God gave you 2 goddamn hands for a reason.
I think that ultimately Urban Meyer won a lot by having the best of talent. And there's one guy here that is arguably the best of what... Well, there's 2 guys. One guy is...
Najee Harris.
I was leaning towards him if they didn't sign Carlos Hyde, who came out of the Ohio State, so I think there's an affinity there. Plus, they had James Robinson. So
Carlos Hyde?
I'm putting myself in Urban Meyer's shoes. I've got my alma mater, who's in there, plus a guy who went for over 1,000 yards as a rookie with a horrible team. So, I'm honestly looking at either Trayvon Moehrig as a safety, but I also just don't view that as necessarily something that Urban Meyer is going to put his hands on. I think the fact that Kwity Paye is still down there, I think that he's a versatile enough defensive lineman. I think they don't have necessarily that long-term answer opposite Josh Allen. I think this is a guy who can rotate inside, outside, don't have to be a 3-down lineman in the first year, and by next year, once he gets under, like...
Well, you put him and Josh Allen on the line at the same time.
That's the ultimate
and
plan.
Just bang them around.
Run
that 2-4-5.
Right, once
That complete trash formation.
Once Smoot is no longer there, I feel like, or if he becomes the reserve and Kwity Paye comes up, I did not expect Kwity Paye to be here. I would have gone Trayvon Moehrig if the draft was a little bit more barren at this point. But with Kwity Paye here, he's the newest Jacksonville Jaguar at 25.
Good pick. The Browns. The Browns. Who's got the Browns?
Well, let's see. If
I
win,
do.
that means
I'm texting Papa Workman real quick. He said he'll be up and help to load the bookcase, and
he's picking up a bookcase and bringing it up.
I'm probably going to roll through before Papa Workman is awake.
Probably, but don't worry. That means I got time because I got to wake up. But
Well, so I told him he called me and I would help him load it, so your dad didn't, because with his back he shouldn't be.
I agree, but I stopped telling him to do
You're
things.
welcome to stay over my house. We could load that bookcase up at 6:30 in the morning and play Madden all day.
The important thing is that you were the one who tried to speed us through the first half, and now we're delaying on the second half.
So
Yeah,
the,
call me out on
Browns, I'm gonna take Rousseau coming out.
Wow.
Even though they brought in Jadeveon Clowney, only a 1-year deal, but you want the guy across.
Okay.
Yep. So what I see happening,
I can see that happening.
they're gonna have JD line up with one hand in the dirt.
He's going to line up all the way outside. They're going to have Myles Garrett, and they're going to have Rousseau line up, hands in the dirt. Edge rushers.
Who's got Baltimore?
That's a Bourne one, so that's a group one.
But I see Gregory Rousseau...
I think it's
because I think they're gonna take the shot.
I think they have enough other pieces on the defense to cover for his lapses in ability coming out of college. And I think he's going to flourish there. And it'll be phenomenal. It'll be
We
good
shall
I told
see.
you so.
We shall see.
Steve, that one's coming your way.
Yeah, there will be a good I told you so.
That
When
I
he
told you so
when he
is
flops,
coming
then we
your
can
way.
all look back to BD and be like,
Nah, get the fuck out of here. It's not flopping. Not flop.
Did you see his pro day? That was a flop.
Wait. What's the water bet here? I will water bet you on Gregory Rousseau.
Oh, finally, somebody getting involved in a whatever that's not me.
Okay, so if Gregory Rousseau busts, I'll let you pour water on
Dad,
him.
What's a bust?
Define
Thank
bust.
you.
Less than 6 sacks as a rookie. I'll let you pour a gallon of water
Take
on
it.
Adam.
I will fucking.
Whoa!
Somebody writing down these water bets.
You are where he said, I'll let you pour a gallon of water on Adam, right?
And then you shook on it.
So
Yeah.
that's what that bet is.
You also aware now I no longer trust you.
Why?
Because you just literally threw me under the bus. Or the
Why?
bottle, or the
He's gonna
bucket of
get
water.
6 sacks.
Don't worry, it's
about
going
it.
on him. It's not going on you.
No, then
No, that's not what
he'll
the bet
slap
was.
you and act
That's
like,
not
oh,
what
no,
the bet was.
I'm a bigger man. You can't pour water on me. That's not the bet. Even though I can make bets with my own friend. Douchebag. Anyway, moving on to Baltimore.
Who had Baltimore?
Steve did.
I do? No, I have
No.
the Saints, but this is Bourne's pick.
Oh, this is Bourne's pick.
Collective.
Sorry. So I think we're starting on your
I
side.
really
now.
haven't had time to look at, to be honest with you, I'm just going to go off of what the Ravens are showing on Draft Network here. They're showing the edge, safety, wide receiver, tackle as the main priority, thinking about it. I mean, define the Ravens. I define the Ravens as more or less having that fucking crazy-ass defense, right? So who do we have on the edge there? Who's here? Who's available? Joe Tyron.
Jason Oweh was the kid who blew up
He
the
ran the
combine.
4.40.
something.
Yeah, something insane. Boogie Basham and Ronnie Perkins.
I do like
That's
that.
really what they
Probably
call him?
Yeah, I like
Boogie Basham?
I actually am a huge Boogie Basham fan.
What cornerbacks we got left?
Yeah, who else?
Let's see. If we're gonna go to the
'Cause
secondary.
that's what I was looking at.
Going to the
for
secondary.
Greg Newsom's a fucking.
I could really see them going Greg Newsome or Asante Samuel,
just to
I would
just
say.
to lock it down.
They have Marcus Peters and Humphrey. Marlon Humphrey.
What safeties? We got still Moehrig.
Moehrig is still
Still
there.
Moehrig,
Yeah,
still.
all the safeties are still on the board at this point, and nobody has been taken. So you got Moehrig, and then wild down. My boy Javon Hollins.
I think I'd still take a corner over
What's
those
good with
safeties there.
Hamza
Hamza Nasir-Al-Din.
Yeah, what's good with him?
Injury history is a little bit concerning, and he's got a little bit of stiffness to him. But at the same time, he also very much so could be like a Derwin James type.
Who's going to sit on my fantasy bench for 4 years?
Yeah, because you won't trade him to me, even though I've offered you.
Make it a fair offer. I'll trade him.
I thought it's been a fair offer at this point. It's
I kind of
You draft Kyle Pitts. Let me get Kyle Pitts.
Yeah, that's not
I
happening.
would do that too. This is again Baltimore's defense.
That's not fair.
Can you highlight the linebackers, please?
Yeah, I'm really understanding how egocentric you
Jamin
are.
Davis.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Jabril Cox, right there. That's where you gotta go.
Yeah, let's
Nah.
Oh.
Oh, there's 3 names above him on the draft board.
No, P. Warner's right is the name right after him. He's a 3rd round guy, so
Oh, I thought you just got very
I
Absorbed by
I
Cox.
really want the Giants. I did get absorbed by Cox
I'm
pretty
gonna
often.
go Christian Barmore here.
That's
You
a
think
good
they're gonna
pick.
go on the inside?
I think they will.
That's a good pick.
Okay.
Defensive line.
I think I'm thinking they're gonna take the.
You got Derek Wolfe there, who's obviously aged and whatnot, and you've got what's his name? Was it one of the Williams, the big boy in the middle, who's a really good nose tackle. But at the same time, they're both aging, so at some point you got to get more girth at the front. I don't hate it.
What a weird
You didn't
phrase.
have to pick Barmore.
like
Yeah,
spot
that was
on.
the collective, by the way.
Whatever.
Well,
Thanks, Andrew.
No,
Good pick, Born.
No, actually, let's keep going around for it. We can adjust for it. It's not like we're.
So
trying to
who's
fix
up
it.
with the Saints?
I got the Saints.
Well, do it then.
Do it then. I'm gonna
Who are
go,
they taking?
I'm gonna go safety. Morik.
Doesn't matter. You wanna go with Morik?
Yep.
Why?
Because it's a need, and I think he'll fill in pretty well.
Okay.
First
29.
safety of the draft. Probably
I believe-
consensus best safety,
I
right?
believe Rob is up for the Packers.
Yes, I am. Is he Ortiz?
So okay, they definitely they never really replaced Bulaga. I guess they lost Bulaga last
Lindsey.
year, and Lindsey this year actually. Good call because he went over to San Diego for that big paycheck.
Mhm.
Or the Los Angeles Chargers. They're San Diego. I don't care what
I
anybody
knew
says.
you meant.
Yeah. I'm still calling him San Diego.
Carmen.
Took everything
So-
I had to say
So
Las
La-
Vegas.
So
Green Bay's
Dickerson's
before,
already off
shit.
the board, right?
What's up?
Who?
Landon Dickerson's already off the board.
Yeah, he went to the Jets at 23.
That's what I thought. Jalen Mayfield.
Okay.
Oh, I see him right there. 60,
I think he's just-
69.
He's got a really
Nice.
good upside.
He's got that upside. He
He's
does
got a
have
really
more
good
upside than
and I
anybody.
think they could probably
that's out
plug
there.
him in right away, and he'll probably have an impact right away on that line.
I think you're right. I don't know about the right away part, but I definitely think that like you're obviously they've shown that Green Bay shows that they invest in the future. They drafted Jordan Love and they drafted AJ Dillon when they still had Aaron Jones and Aaron Rodgers on the roster. So they've always had at least one eye on the future. So it wouldn't surprise me if they're looking at O-line and understanding, hey, we need 5 guys who can play O-line at all times.
And now we come to it's been a long time coming. Pick
It
30th.
took- it took-
Probably the latest that the Bills have ever picked in Adam's lifetime in the
'cause even
first
when we trade
round.
down with
What
Kansas
did
City,
this take? I had 4 beers.
What do we
Rob, what did you have? 3 beers?
3 beers.
35.
3 beers.
Oh, we got plenty of time.
Hey, what'd you have? 3 beers? 4 beers? How many beers did it take you to get to the Bills pick this year?
5? Are we
Oh,
not?
five.
We're not including tequila shots, right?
No.
Oh yeah, then 5.
5 beers.
But we're there. And with the 30th pick in the NFL draft,
Ooh.
the Buffalo Bills select
He's going Najee Harris. That's what he's doing.
Oh, we finished the 1 beer.
6
Crack the
beers.
second one.
We made it.
We've hit the 6
We
pack.
made it. Soliloquy time.
I'm gonna keep it short and sweet. I didn't think Greg Newsom was gonna be here. I'm taking Greg Newsom.
That's a great pick.
It's a
We need a
phenomenal
CB2. I love Levi Wallace. We brought him back on less than what he was originally going to be tendered, which shows that we don't have necessarily organizationally the long-term perspective of him of being a permanent fixture on the team. If he was gone, yes, I would start looking at running back because I think the value is there. I didn't think Greg Newsom was going to be here, and while I like some of the cornerbacks that I can get in the second round, I can't pass up on the fact that I can grab my long-term running mate with Trey White for the next couple of years.
I think he's gonna be great, man.
Yeah,
It's a good
it's a great pick.
I think there's no
Fuck the
argument
Bills.
against it
No,
at all.
like,
Just so we're clear, if the
At
board
all.
looked like this with Greg Newsom gone and like Jalen Mayfield still here, for example, I'd go Najee Harris. Because we're not trading out, I would go Najee Harris.
Yeah.
But with Greg Newsom there, I ain't going to pass that up.
May I see the interior offensive lineman, please?
All right, because we're up to where are we at? Kansas City. Even though they
Almost
drafted.
there, boys. Almost there. So,
with the
interior-
31st pick in the NFL draft,
Boo.
Kansas Shitty Chiefs will be drafting Creed Humphrey
Okay.
That's interesting. Why?
because they don't have a center and they don't have a left tackle. And I feel drafting Creed Humphrey solidifies a young center with their young quarterback. And the two of them are going to go on for a while together. That's going to be like the Jeff Saturday, Peyton Manning 1-2. At least if Creed Humphrey falls to them, I can see that happening. I don't see Creed Humphrey playing outside at all. I don't really see Creed Humphrey playing guard much, unless it's necessary. But playing Alex Mack level center, blocking and snapping for Pat Mahomes, I see Creed Humphrey doing that shit for about a decade or more.
Solid player. He's gonna be a solid NFL starter.
Like, I have mocks I've done personally where I have him going to the Jets in the second round to block for a rookie quarterback that they take in the first. So the Chiefs may be reaching for a player at a position they need to protect a player that they have that they've already given a shitload of money to. More money than I'll ever see in my life. I don't see it out of the realm of possibility.
I wouldn't call it a reach if you're going to think the Jets are going to take him 3 picks later.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So-
like
Oh, they take Landon Dickinson. I don't know if they're taking.
But
Creed
if
Humphrey 3 picks later.
if he was assuming that they were gonna, if the board
No, I got
shook
you.
out this way, then it would be different.
Well, that's just it. It's also when you get towards the end, you can't just go based off of the predictive board off of a website. At the end of the day, you got to understand that teams are going to look at these players in a vacuum and view them the way they view them. And if a team the way that, for example, Pittsburgh, I think values the center very much so. They have drafted
Pouncey
centers.
for ages.
Every
right?
center has basically before even Pouncey, I feel like every one of their centers just goes to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Like their centers are just always good. They value that position, and you know what? It obviously has worked out well for them. They're a successful franchise. So if you are one of those people who it just takes one team, like it's that cliche, it just takes one. You just need one team to love you, and Tim Tebow went in the first round. Tim Tebow had no business going in that first round.
If Tim
But
Tebow,
he did,
if Tim
because he
Tebow
got
were
Josh
in this
McDaniels
draft,
he would go as maybe the third or fourth tight end.
Last pick.
he'd
boys.
go before Mac Jones.
No, Mac Jones can at least throw a football, and that's what I want my quarterback to do.
I think
Tim Tebow can't throw a football.
Tebow
well.
would probably be a higher prospect than Trey Lance.
Tim Tebow would go in the second round the same way Jalen Hurts did.
Think about the winning.
And Jalen Hurts went a little higher
the
than people
winning
expected.
that Tim Tebow brought to a team.
Yeah, because he was the only one on that team that you mentioned, the aforementioned Aaron Hernandez and the Percy Harvins and the
Who was the other
Pouncey brothers, both of them. That team was low.
Oh yeah, every criminal in
And
the
who was the head coach?
NFL.
And who was the head
And then
coach?
Tim Tebow.
And who was the head coach? And who was the head coach of that team?
Adam Gase.
Urban Meyer. The guy who did just accumulated talent, regardless of everything else, to win. That team was loaded. Don't get me wrong.
Tebow.
Yes, Tebow was a great college quarterback.
He was fun to watch play football.
In college.
yeah.
Is this
It
last?
was painful in the
Is
NFL.
this last pick Bourne's?
Yeah, so we're actually into a collective pick.
Oh
It's actually
jeez,
kinda
it'd be
cool.
great if this guy could phone his shit in.
What a fucking jerk off. So what
So
are we
with the
doing?
32nd pick,
You think that how are the Bucs offensive line? How's their offensive line?
I think, well, they
they're not going to go Elijah Moore, right? Let's look at players they're not going to take.
I mean, you got Tom Brady. You want
Oh, are you
to
taking-
make
do you
Tom
have
Brady
anything?
last as long as possible, right? I mean, that's kind of where my thinking goes.
It's okay. The O-line, they just re-signed Donovan Smith to a couple years, so that's pretty much so a financial commitment on the left side, and then they also drafted Tristan Wirfs in the first round last year, so I would imagine on the outside that they weren't focally looking to replace there.
He did a decent job, right?
So
he did better than Andrew Thomas.
So if they're going to pick a lineman, they're probably going to pick an interior guy.
If they go O-line, I absolutely think that's the way they're going.
So who's there?
Creed Humphrey is still there, who I actually think is
Creed Humphrey
viable.
was just taken.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. Creed Humphrey was just taken. That means that you're looking at Wyatt Teller being the best one, who is really strictly a guard. And I don't think that that's something that
Cosme's
he's
still
taken.
here at tackle.
Cosme's an interesting one.
Liam Eichenberg.
I don't think they take tackles, as what Adam was just saying.
Honestly,
unless you're saying one of these tackles
I
that
think
are...
with D-line.
This dude right here,
Tackles
Wyatt Davis, probably the best inside offensive
I just
lineman
actually explained that he's a guard only and didn't think that he should be the pick there. Drop down, and I did not.
What
want to be
the
guy
fuck
who
are we
would
talking
impregnate
about?
Your rectum with the scissors.
You guys ready?
Yeah, what the fuck are we talking about?
So, we had another little camera malfunction. We're back. We got the 32nd pick, the last pick
Bucks.
in the first round of the NFL draft. I'm pretty sure my buddies are doing the fariest shit behind me. But with the last pick in the first round of the NFL draft in 2021, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers select.
So this is that group one. I'm going to say Terrence Marshall. I think that they need a wide receiver. I think that they only franchise tag Godwin. I think that he is going to be a good long-term answer somewhere, but they haven't shown it to him. Mike Evans is the only wide receiver really locked in after, long-term for big money after next year. I think that, and with Antonio Brown departing and with Bruce Arians liking to air it out, I think that that's a logical fit.
Not Elijah Moore?
I just think that Terrence Marshall offers more upside both on the outside and inside. He's just when you don't get 6'3" that side.
I agree with you there too. I was going to say wide receiver as well, and since I don't know as many of the draft prospects, I actually will defer to Adam on this one because I know he knows more, and we are at the 32nd pick, so this actually makes sense to me.
I'll take Leatherwood because Tom Brady's fucking old and he probably needs more protection, and that's it. Who else?
Wait, who are you going with?
Leatherwood.
Alex
That's actually pretty
Leatherwood,
good. He's
the
got a nice
tackle
nasty streak. I do like him. And he can jump inside if they need him to.
Yeah, protection.
So, Beatty, I know you're all camera, but what are you thinking?
Part of me really wants to say Najee Harris, but I don't think they're going that way because they have Leonard Fournette.
That being said, Leonard Fournette and Ronald Jones have 1 year left on. That's it.
I'm a big Ron Jones truther. I'm a Ron Jones truther. You know that
from
shit.
USC days. I was with you on that one too. I got you.
So I don't see the need for Najee Harris.
They do need to extend him though. They're gonna have to pay him.
So I really like the Leatherwood pick. I wouldn't mind them going an IOL either. If they go a little inside guy.
If Humphrey has
bump Wirfs outside. Bump Wirfs outside. Bump Wirfs into center. The guy's versatile.
So we're at 2-2.
Guy's versatile. He played all 5 coming out.
Yeah, they were talking about him being a guard too.
I think the longer you can give Tom Brady to continue playing football without getting hit, the better it's going to be for whatever franchise has Tom Brady.
So we're saying
so if Tom Brady is the cornerstone of the franchise and you're building around him, you got Godwin, you got Evans, you got AB, so you don't need anybody to throw the ball to. You got OJ Howard. You don't need anybody to throw the ball to.
So
what you need are people to keep your octogenarian quarterback healthy.
So since we're at 2-2, I think we should go with Najee Harris. And the reason I say that is because we're tied, and I'm not going to spend the time trying to debate you on it. I'm going to say this. I mentioned Ronald Jones and Leonard Fournette have 1 year left. You draft Najee Harris. Maybe one of them doesn't. Maybe those 3 make it out. Maybe you bring 4 running backs or whatnot. But let's let him have Najee Harris because this way you got a running back.
Najee Harris is the pick.
Najee Harris is also
and this way
first round worthy.
Yeah.
Najee Harris is first round worthy.
Finalize that draft.
You get that 5th-year option on. You're right, and I think Najee Harris. I love ETN. I think he's got better speed. Najee Harris just has that ball.
Save.
So save our draft results. So that's what we can.
So we will be. Where am I coming, Steve? Where's this fucking camera at?
So we'll be
I'm not coming on anything.
We will post the draft.
On anything.
We will post the draft on Twitter before the video is up. The video will be up. as soon as possible tomorrow morning, Thursday morning.
That's it.
And
I just have to bring a
YouTube.
bookcase to Adam's house, chop these pieces together. A little bit of that one, a little bit of that two. We get that 1, 2. Videos going up. Hopefully everybody shares it this week.
Hopefully.
And
Hey,
top
listen.
comment will be on the
I'm
video
a victim.
the draft results so that you guys can see what the results are and follow along with the video.
Please talk shit to us.
Yeah, give us your comments.
Just talk
your
shit.
concern.
Right, we don't need you guys to like us. We already like ourselves enough.
hate us.
Please come at us with that vitriol.
Yeah, give us
You
your
don't have
opinion.
anything better to do with your time. Watch an hour-long video about us telling you how this draft is going down, and then spend 20 minutes of your time telling us how we're fucking stupid.
That's all right. We like
Do
the
it.
judgment.
Yeah,
we like the judgment, and we like to commentate.
Hey,
Plus, if you spend 20 minutes telling us how we're stupid, each of us will spend 20 minutes telling you why you're right.
exactly. Iron sharpens iron. Wait a minute. Now, but that being said,
Is that it?
yeah, that's it. Everything. So appreciate everybody. Be smart. Be safe. Rock on.